suffocating world. I'm reaching out for arms, I'm drowning in the open-ended love we're making, girl. Exhale the past, inhale a future that lasts. Change my heart, change my mind. For the last time, wanna believe in the life I've led. I don't wanna leave another word unsaid. You know my heart will follow you in tomorrow. In tomorrow. Shared my evidence you once really cared. I'm reaching for a hand to pull me up, up. One open to an everlasting love. Exhale the past, inhale the future that lasts. Change my heart, change my mind. For the last time, wanna believe in the life I've led. I don't wanna leave another word unsaid. You know my heart will follow you in tomorrow. In tomorrow.
Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first day of the group stage of the EURC 2020. I'm here with my beloved co-caster Kissing. How are you?
I'm very good, Trigger. How are you, my friend?
I'm totally fine. I'm very hyped about the start of this whole event that's going to last for like several weeks. This time, I think we were done in like 2 weeks back in 2019, but for this year, we have a longer process. So much to play out and so much to see in that matters. So I'm just totally 100% hyped. And yes, so we are about to see the remaining champions of 2019 Oldenburg Avengers, like in the first series of this tournament. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think it's going to be an absolutely incredible start to tonight. I mean, we've got Oldenburg versus the Northern Lions, and I think coming out strong is going to be Smiley. I just really think we're going to see some fantastic plays from him. I'm really excited to see how they come in if they start as strong as they finished the 2019 season.
Yeah, I'm very curious about that as well, and I'm not entirely sure if they still like have the amount of or the skill level that they actually turn out to have in 2019. They placed a little lower in the German University League in Division One for this season, but also competition was rough, and I'm not sure. I think on paper they appear a little less scary than they have done at some time, because I don't even know if ELMP, for example, is playing a lot of rank currently. So he looks a bit low on paper compared to a lot of other teams that are competing for the EURC 2020. But still, Oldenburg is just a very scary team. ELMP and Smiley have played for a while, and Xifu is now as well. And he turned out to actually, I don't know, peak at 1,700 MMR at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. So he's done. He has put in a lot of work to actually get close to his teammates and round up the team. So I'm very looking forward to this. And on the other hand, just to mention the rosters, you already mentioned the name. We have Northern Lion Esports with Noddy, Sirius, and Rifle Games, and they also do look like a scary roster, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the one thing to take into consideration with both teams is that what we said about Oldenburg now lacking a little bit more in the MMR than they started with. What they lack in that, they make up for in their chemistry and the fact that they've played together they've won together. They know what each other are capable of, and I think they'll be aware of each other's positioning at most times. And I think seeing teams like Oldenburg, even though they might not have the highest MMR ratings, we will most likely see the least amount of double commits from them, the least amount of positional errors, just because they know each other, they know their play styles, and they know what they're all capable of. Northern Lions, I personally haven't seen them play too much. I've heard a lot of things about Noddy himself, and I just think it'll be interesting to see how they fare up against the 2019 champions and whether this will actually affect how they play and their mentality in the game.
Yeah, I mean, they have been put down to the lower bracket in the first qualifier for EURC 2020 by Brighton Babes with a 3-2 game in the best of 5 series. So that was kind of close, and they made their way through the lower bracket, actually sweeping Bournemouth Storm in the end of the lower bracket. So they've also put in kind of an effort and showed in the qualifier, of course, already that they are definitely at a level to play at the EURC 2020 at, and they will definitely keep up a good competition today, I guess. Even though I bet it's quite hard for them, just even mentally, to play against the defending champions of 2019 just right at the start. But sometimes you have to do that.
Yeah, definitely. And you have to stop and wonder if coming out of the lower brackets to qualify for the EURC, if that actually puts you in a worse position mentally than coming out and having gone through the upper brackets and just winning those quite comfortably. Now, Northern Lions, that's not to say they didn't win the lower brackets comfortably. As you said, they swept in the finals. They always looked quite strong throughout that entire lower brackets play. But that being said, Oldenburg coming straight out, not even needing to go through that, coming through as the previous winners. We might see some hesitancy on Northern Lions' side. We might see them not quite risking a couple of the challenges we might see some of the other teams making. And that could end up being the difference between Oldenburg and Northern Lions. But we really need to see the gameplay and see how they play and see whether or not we're right or wrong. They might come out of the gates straight away aggressive, powerful, looking to punish every mistake Oldenburg might make, or they might come out a little more hesitant, a little more defensive, and look to counterattack.
Yeah, actually, I'm looking very forward to see the Northern Lions not play too defensive just right at the start, because I personally think that Oldenburg Avengers are a team that punishes that kind of game attitude kind of hard, because if I was to name their like peak characteristics, it's definitely just consistency and defense in that matter, and they know when and how to score when the chances appear. So I definitely wonder if the Northern Lions are going to approach this game very offensive. And to be honest, I haven't seen much of them in the first qualifier, just the standings and the results, of course. But yeah, I guess we are about to find out. Just taking a quick look into the lobby, and I think we're still lacking the Northern Lion esports talents. So we have a bit of time to go on talking.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we might see Oldenburg straight off the bat, like you were saying, with the aggression and knowing when to really take their chances and take those opportunities. I think we could see Oldenburg quite a few times just choking Northern Lions in terms of the boost, and just seeing them really aggress on their large boost pads in the corners and on the sides of the pitch, just to try and really capture the Lions and just put them straight back into their own half, stop them really making any sort of dangerous attacks. And I think that might be really what's going to separate Oldenburg and Northern Lions in this game.
Whoops, muted for a second, so I guess I coughed in my microphone just right now. perfect timing and mechanics by me there. Yeah.
I think you're all fine on that one.
Yeah, but also Oldenburg Avengers didn't place or didn't get too much of a high rank in the German Uniliga season, and the just finished a winter season. But Oldenburg Avengers are like in the top 3 of our stats in terms of shots per game. They still are able to fire out an average of 10 plus shots per game, and definitely are a very precise offensive playing teams, even though the amount of shots would tell you otherwise. But I'm very curious about Northern Lions are really prepared to play against that caliber of a team right to the start.
Yeah, and we could even say that Northern Lions are coming in strong already with the mind games, not quite joining the match, not just trying to put that kind of mental element on Oldenburg. Okay, it's probably not that. It's probably more just that they're not quite ready yet. But you do wonder what that will do to the entire Oldenburg team, the ELMP, Smiley, and Siphius just sitting in there, just waiting for their team to turn up.
Yeah, they're not only trying to destroy the enemy team's mantles, but also the casters to make them struggle and have a longer talk than expected. But we can try our best to make this as smooth as possible. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of stats concerning the Northern Lions esports team to go and talking about, but
that's okay. They've joined the they've joined the match now, so even they've decided that the casters have spoken a little bit too long about some unnecessary things, and they just want to get into the game as much as we do now.
All right, so I guess we will no longer be waiting, and we give it a go in the chat in the lobby, and players are about to take their seats. And we are about to jump in the first series of the first day of the group stage of the EURC 2020. Let's go.
We're seeing ELMP and Noddy facing off on that kickoff. Oldenburg just opting to pop it back into their corner. Smiley with not a great 50 against Psy there. ELMP just coming to bail out. Quite a good shot. Noddy just popping it over to the side, willing to just slow down play a little bit. And ELMP looking to take it center for the counter attack. Psy just cutting out that play.
Siphius without any boost. Still making good way out of his own half. Passing it to Smiley. And I know for Smiley, he's been playing a lot of solo ranked games lately. Trying to push the ladder. I'm pretty sure he is prepared to get everything on the board.
Yeah, definitely. And we really are seeing Northern Lions getting quite stuck on in their back half already, straight from the off. Really struggling for that boost. We're seeing Rifle with 0, no mid boost to try and take. Seeing a pass coming in from ELMP into the middle. Quite a difficult one for Smiley to read there. And ELMP re-challenging. Noddy happy just to pop it to the left. Smiley there reading the play, and Rifle will hopefully get a big clear, but a miss comes out from Rifle there. Psy having to pick up the pieces, and ELMP just popping it straight back into the middle. And a worrying pass there from Noddy, passing it straight into Smiley. Smiley hitting the post, not able to put it on target. Psy 0 boost, trying to get it out of his own half, and Siphius coming to commit. And we're seeing some pressure coming through already from Oldenburg, and a big demo. Leaving the play open, ELMP putting it off the backboard. Smiley trying to read, not quite able to push it down. And Noddy just coming in with the clear.
Yeah, and Oldenburg Avengers playing up beautiful chances, but don't quite get the finish. At
Rifle
least
Games,
not yet. Beautiful
Rifle
demo
Games
play just earlier.
expecting the ball to come out there, not quite. Smiley just trying to pop it down. ELMP off of the sidewall, putting it center. Fortunately, Rifle just managing to get a touch on that. It would have been extremely dangerous. Smiley ready for the pass in. Noddy happy to take it slow. Not entirely sure he's got much boost. Managing to pop it over. Smiley looking to get the clear. Takes it around the sidewall, and it's pushed straight back into the corner by Rifle. Noddy back down into the middle, and Rifle not quite facing the right direction there to try and make a commit.
And both teams are definitely trying to boost out the enemy team when they are about to make an offensive play right now, and both teams seem to be pretty good right now at doing so. Psy, always off his own backboard, has to do the mandatory saves there.
Yeah, and we're seeing both teams really trying to put the pressure on, but neither team managing to put any sort of dangerous commits on here. But we are going to see Psy coming up. Siphius going straight under an ELMP. Fortunately, it's going straight towards him in the center of the goal there. It does mean he doesn't have to make too much of a move, and even with not much boost, able to make quite a good save on the clear. But like you say, we're really seeing both teams having their boost taken away from them in their corners quite often, sometimes by their own team, quite unnecessarily. But we're looking at ELMP taking it back down to the other side now. He's got two teammates, one in the center. Smiley coming in just before ELMP's managing to make a pass off, and Siphius having to now challenge Rifle. And we're seeing both teams really going backwards and forwards on defense here. What do you think about that?
Yeah, Smiley eventually being a little hesitant right there in the offensive. I thought ELMP would have a good shot just right out of himself when he was having good clear and pushing the way forward. And now Smiley defending alone. ELMP has to go to the backboard. Clears this to the side. CI doesn't get the read. He wishes to have gotten there. ELMP gets another touch.
We're seeing
backboard
Noddy
and
just...
CI again from the backboard. He's really the lone hero on the Northern Line Esports backboard there.
Yeah, he really is, and we're seeing him quite a lot, having to bail out his other teammates. Noddy was just sitting in goal there, just waiting for the ball to go over, waiting for Side to get a decent clear. And he does so, and he's done so a few times now during this game. And neither team really challenging the other just yet. We're 4 minutes into the game, and no one's really looked like the stronger team. We're going to see an awkward bounce now, but Rifle just clearing it before it gets a chance to. And again, like I say, neither team really making the best of the chances, capitalising on the opportunities they've been given. As I said, ELMP trying to pull it into the middle side just then. This is a great pass, and we're seeing all three players baited, and it's gone just over. We're seeing double commit, ELMP just dropping it short of the crossbar. Absolutely wonderful goal, but poor triple commit there from the Northern Lions team. It really does pull all three defenders out of the play. No one able to get back in time. We were speaking about that boost steal. None of them having the opportunity or the time to go back up for that. We're seeing a 1-0 game, 4 minutes 30 in.
Yeah, almost 4.5 minutes to make that first goal of this event happen, but Oldenburg Avengers managed to do so. But I have to say both teams look like they're struggling a bit. I think they're definitely nervous. You can almost feel it that they are playing the opening game right here on the stream.
Definitely.
I'm not very used to see that of Oldenburg Avengers, and I definitely think Northern Line Esports are not used to play like that as well. The last 3 seconds are ticking down right here.
Definitely say that ELMP has looked like the stronger team player out of both teams. Out of all 6 players, ELMP really is the one who's been trying to pile on that pressure throughout the entirety of that game. And the only goal, is sad to say, it hasn't really come from the most fantastic team play. It was a great decision to pass it onto the backboard by Smiley. But really, there was no challenge on ELMP. He didn't have to fight too much for that goal. He just jumped up. We could see ELMP and Siphius both committing for the shot, both knowing that it didn't matter who actually went through to it. It was going to be a goal. And really, I don't feel like that justifies what we've seen in this game so far. Both teams have put on some pretty good defense and pretty good midfield play. That to see a goal scored like that out of a triple commit is just quite sad. But Oldenburg do take the 1-0 lead in the first game, and I really think both teams will know they have to step up their game if they're going to take the rest of this series to a win.
Yeah, but to be honest, I feel like, well, both teams were struggling. They were kind of nervous. Really get that, and I think we've really seen that visually for both teams. But Oldenburg Avengers played out a lot of good chances, and they had, I'd say, at least 2 or 3 open nets that they kind of missed. There was that one solo attempt from ELMP where Smiley came in from behind and took the shot and actually placed it at the backboard. And well, in the end, there was a double commit, of course, by ELMP and Xifias for the one and only goal they achieved to score. But well, it's not punishing to double commit if you're really 100% sure that if either one of them gets the right touch, it's 100% in. So I'm curious about Oldenburg Avengers can eventually focus on putting more shots. They are targeting at the enemy goal, right, really into the goal. And we see if they have a better attempt right in this game to make this happen.
Yeah, definitely. And we're seeing a nice little recovery there from Sai, trying to hold the play. And not the greatest of touches there from Rifle. Fortunately, Sai again just coming in. And this looks like it could be an own goal from Smiley. And I'm not sure what we've just seen there. I think Smiley, he's just gone for a flip on his way back. Not quite expecting to hit the ball where he has. And he's just hit it straight into his own net. And like we were saying last game, it really wasn't a fantastic offensive play there. There wasn't really a counter-attack going. Smiley just not quite doing the right thing there on his play. Jumping, not doing any form of flip, anything like that. Realised, oh no, I've faced this towards my own goal. And next thing you know, it's 1-0 to Northern Lions.
They must have had some kind of communicational issue right there. Xifias not being behind when I guess Smiley was expecting him to. No long clear coming with Northern Lions. Rifle Games following it up. Good challenge by Smiley there, but CY is there for the follow-up. ELMP and Xifias commit and the goal is open. And Noddy doesn't struggle to take the shot and give his team a 2-goal lead.
And we're seeing another mistake there from Oldenburg, which has led to the goal from Northern Lions. And that's not to take any credit away from Northern Lions. Fantastic position, fantastic pressure on Oldenburg there. ELMP jumping up just a little bit too soon. Smiley not thinking he's got the hit, he has. And that's just meant that Smiley's committed. He really should have stayed in goal there. And if he has, maybe we would still see a 1-0 game. But Smiley commit with the LMP, open goal, and that just leading to the 2-0.
And another dangerous situation. Shot coming in, ELMP last one defending and just barely gets the save he has to get. Nice clear from CFS here. CY again has to go up to his own backboard. Rifle Games King to the outside. ELMP with the center pass and Smiley draws 2 Northern Lion players right there to the ball, and they are Oldenburg Avengers look like they are trying to get into their old shape, playing a lot more center passes and they are definitely good at doing so if they do it at their best.
Definitely, and I think Smiley's going to be slightly unhappy with the way he's come out in this second game. He's not really been the impressive player that we saw in that last game. He really put on the pressure. He didn't make too many mistakes. He was extremely consistent in that second game. No one there to follow up for ELMP's flick, and it does just mean that Northern Lions are able to get an easy clear on that one. I just opting to bump Smiley. Smiley with the reverse and just managing to flick it in. Noddy up early, just clearing that away from Siphius, and Smiley might look at trying to put this back in. He does so, but demoed for his efforts.
Yeah, and Oldenburg Avengers, I think, are still struggling to get the efficiency going that we all know they're capable of. As for Northern Lion Esports, actually managed to keep their two-goal lead here, so why even bother? Now CY trying to get the ball off his backboard, leaving the shot for Xephius, but it's not on target and blocked anyway. Now going for the mid, Smiley against Noddy. Ball bouncing down for ELMP. Oldenburg is very offensive position right here. ELMP making his way back. Xephius now with an open goal. Leaves it for Smiley because he faked out Noddy anyway. I don't know if he missed it. I think he left it on purpose.
And I think this is one of those situations where, for Siphius, he knows full well if he shoots this, it's going in. If he misses, the defense is just not going to read that. Noddy not really having much to do. He has to try and predict that first shot, because if he doesn't, he knows Siphius is going to see that and just be able to put that on target. Siphius, seeing that he's gone up early, able to just bait him out, leaves it for Smiley just to go for the goal. And Smiley just saying, I need to make some sort of recompense for what I've just done earlier on in the game. Does so, able to put it straight onto target. And we're seeing Oldenburg attacking a lot more aggressively. Smiley going for a bump there on Rifle. Rifle now out of the play. ELMP in the middle. But Siphius not quite able to get the pass through.
Yeah, now Noddy with the attempted center pass on CY, but doesn't quite get the power. Now free ball for Smiley. Centers it for Xephius, but Noddy's there to interrupt. Possible counter-attack from Northern Lion Esports. Rifle Games still at the ball. Gets past Smiley.
Yeah, and that was a fantastic demo coming up there. And I think one of the great things that we've been seeing this game is Northern Lions' ability and want to actually cause some aggression and some pain to their opposition. And no one really able to follow up that shot there. All 3 Oldenburg attackers aggressing the first hit, so no one's there to follow up the misplay on defense from the Northern Lions. And a miss from Siphius comes out, and a miss from Smiley comes out. And even ELMP on his back by himself picks up the 100 boost into the corner, and we could be seeing a dangerous pass in. Siphius and ELMP managing just to pinch it out between each other, just to pop it into the sidewall. And again, we're seeing Smiley miss there in the centre, and it's a big miss because we are leaving him on the attack. And Siphius with the misplay. Rifle hitting it onto the sidewall. Siphius trying to stop the initial shot. Doesn't quite manage it, and in turn redirect into his own goal. And it's 3 unfortunate misplays on defence from Oldenburg, which has led to a 3-1 victory in this second game to Northern Lions.
Yeah, definitely. They still struggle to get positioned right in Oldenburg Avengers. We have seen them double or even triple committing at least 2 or more amount of times right in this game, and now they have to really get the offensive going to even out this game before it closes out. 20 seconds left. Now Xephius with the attempt gets the block against Noddy, but CY is there. Always.
Yeah, definitely, and it's looking like Oldenburg are just uncomfortable in this second game. They've made a lot of mistakes, a lot of double commits that have really cost them goals, and we saw that first one coming out from ELMP and Smiley, I think it was. And that is just a prime example of what you can't do in EURC, because you will be punished regardless of the team you're playing. We came into this and we knew Northern Lions were the lower ranked team of the 2, and in this particular game Oldenburg have come out and just said, we don't know who is the lower ranked team because we're going to make as many mistakes as everyone else does.
Yeah, this is not looking like the Oldenburg team we are used to be honest. They struggle to make the keep the pass play up, the fast center passes and the precise shootings like from midfield. They were doing a lot earlier, or in the EURC 2019, for example. And the Northern Lions actually just managed to punish. As you mentioned before this series started, they're actually able to punish the mistakes Oldenburg Avengers are doing right now, and they definitely are doing those mistakes.
Yeah, and I think if we see a third game going the same way that has gone this game, we're really going to struggle to call who's going to win this because that first game, it didn't look like anybody's game. Both teams were holding the midfield well. Both teams were holding their defense well. And in this second game, Oldenburg just looked like they have not known how to defend. They're not quite sure of the communication. The comms don't seem right. It seems as if one team is saying one thing, another team is saying another, just because they really, really look like they're struggling at this point in time. And I think we've seen that. And Northern Lions have come out and they've been far more aggressive in that second game than they were in their first, and they've just punished all of the mistakes that Oldenburg have been making.
Oldenburg definitely must not triple commit in the offensive to make their play happen. They've always been able to do that in a two-player fashion. Just centering a good pass and going on for that. Now Smiley, Neil, and P with the double commit defensive-wise. But does it matter? There's the demolition of Xifias. Now the pass to the backboard. CY, the follow-up. Now the pressure's gone. ELMP trying to get the clear, but Rifle Games. Another chance and another shot. Good read here from Xifias.
And that was a great decision to jump there from Xifias. I mean, they really looked like they were going to struggle with that for a second. Xifias being the last man back, really running that risk on making that jump. Smiley coming through with a great demo. Xifias onto the backboard, trying to pass for Smiley. Sai's popped it just down for ELMP. ELMP not managing to finish, and Smiley coming in with a shot. And Sai coming in with a fantastic save. They're just bailing out all of his team. And they will go on to the counter-attack with that. ELMP, though, happy to just pop it straight back down and just reset for his entire team. But that was an incredible display of defense there from the Northern Lions, just showing that the mistakes Oldenburg were making in that first game, Northern Lions are not prepared to be making those same ones in this third.
Yeah, and you can visually see Oldenburg trying to stretch out to get this goal that almost was a goal and like commit more and more. And you definitely see ELMP being the only one patient enough to rotate back and just let this attempt not be a goal, because it didn't end up to be a goal. But now the beautiful play is coming in, open net. ELMP to Xifias in their own half. Really punishing the positioning of Northern Lion Esports players here.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about before these games even kicked off, is that we might see Oldenburg just baiting out that Northern Lions attack and then going for a counter-attack, knowing full well they're going to be stuck, potentially trying to defend some of the plays they're going to be making. And just there, we saw Oldenburg waiting patiently, Smiley just backing into his goal, Northern Lions going for the demo, and all of a sudden we see some really ridiculous plays coming out. Oldenburg happy just to go on attack there, and absolutely no problems whatsoever, just to score that first goal in this third game.
Oh, and this is another open net, I believe, and it is. I saw it coming. I'm using a camera angle just really far up in the air, and that was a good idea to send it the pass by Smiley, but no one was covering it, and no one was in the back, so it was way too dangerous, and of course led to a direct counter goal, evening up this game here for Northern Lion Esports, and this is a bit too easy.
Yeah, and I think that's 2 goals now that we've seen in this game that have been caused by what could arguably some absolutely terrible rotations. That goal there that Northern Lions have just scored to pull that back, we saw one Oldenburg player going for mid-left boost. We saw another Oldenburg player in the centre not really bothering to commit, not really bothering to get back, and seeing errors like that is just not what we expect to see at this kind of level. And if we continue to see this, they're going to struggle in future games, because playing like this against some of the other teams that we've got available in this EURC is really gonna set these guys back.
Yeah, totally agree with you on that. But this game is still going. We have 2 minutes left here on the clock. and it's even out now. The ball going straight to LMP for wide and far clear, sorry.
And we're seeing a slow commit by Smiley there. And he's allowed the entirety of the Northern Lions team back to defend there. And it's just really not what we expect to see, because that amount of time to commit, that speed is what will win you games. Smiley not really prepared to go for it. Noddy coming through as I'm speaking about the speed of Oldenburg there. Sai with a fantastic pass into the centre. Nobody challenging Noddy there, allowing him a free shot. ELMP trying to do all that he can, trying to stop that ball going in, just goes straight over the top of him. And we're seeing a 2-1 game. And it's just incredible. This is just such a difference from what we saw in the first game and the second.
Yeah, I feel like Sai really feels comfortable on the walls, whether it is his backboard or the sideboard of his field. Now Oldenburg Avengers again pressured to tie this game. And they barely have 1.5 minutes left.
Yeah, neither team really willing to pull off any fancy plays. None of them really risking anything at the moment. It's just quite a slow, quite calculated gameplay. And the problem that we're seeing is that the speed, the slowness of this game is really benefiting Northern Lions more than it is for Oldenburg. And we're just seeing a game at the moment of who can make the more mistakes. And this is just not the kind of thing we expect to see. We see fantastic pass coming out there for ELMP not quite managing to pop it in. But again, the lack of mistakes coming through from the Northern Lions defense is what we're currently seeing cause this 2-1 victory.
Yeah, Noddy there with eventually an open net, but puts it to the backboard anyways. And we see some kind of original offensive plays there by Oldenburg Avengers, but they struggle to get the momentum going like exactly when they need it, and they see a good opening chance and they go for it, but they're already too late, leaving a good clear to Northern Line Esports and giving away the play for free, giving away possession. And just at the moment, Northern Line Esports is simply better on capitalizing on that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think even in those last kind of 20 seconds there, 15 seconds, we didn't really see Oldenburg challenging much. We didn't see them putting any sort of pressure on. You'd almost think at that point in time it was Oldenburg that were leading 2-1. But no, it's Oldenburg losing 2-1. We weren't seeing that same aggression coming out. ELMP almost seemed more hesitant to leave his teammates on the defence this time. And even from the mistake that we saw in ELMP in the last game, with ELMP and Smiley's double commit, in this game we're just seeing no commits, and leaving Noddy for a free shot in that centre when you're 1-0 is really not the kind of thing you can do against any team. Every single team this EURC has the potential, has that one player who is able to pull off a fantastic shot when they're left for a free open shot on target from most midfield parts of this pitch. And allowing Noddy to do something like that, he's exactly the player on this Northern Lions team you would expect to be able to do that. So leaving him to do that is just not acceptable.
Yeah, to be fair, I think that Oldenburg Avengers had kind of similar chances multiple times throughout this series, but they struggle actually to be precise enough to score on those. And this is definitely not something I'm used to them, and I don't know if it's kind of a mentally struggling thing in the first series of the EURC 2020, or if they have simply not played as much together as they've done before, but they definitely appear to be struggling here, and they have to get up the pace right in this game, or they are going to lose their first series here in the EURC, as it's 2-1 for Northern Line Esports against Oldenburg Avengers, and there's already 6 seconds in the game. There's a good chance, good opportunity for Noddy. Puts it to the top right, but ELMP has to read anyway. ELMP also got the Savior medal last game. He's always doing so much defensive work for the Oldenburg Avengers.
And that's a great pass down from Smiley. Smiley not really, and this is the speed we're talking about, he's not really following that up as fast as he maybe should have been there. Even if he's just jumping to try and put the pressure on, like we see ELMP doing just there, he really needs to be coming through and doing that, because now we're going to see it on a really risky 2-on-1. Smiley not able to come in with the challenge there, and ELMP stuck trying to defend his back corner of the goal, not able to do so. Not even the slow pop up there. Siphius trying to clear the ball as best as he can. Sai going for the only corner in that goal that ELMP cannot defend, and we see 40 seconds into the game, and 1-0 up to Northern Lions.
Yeah, and ELMP was left completely without a boost there, so I doubt he would have had any chance of defending other angles on that shot. Just a too good opportunity for Northern Line Esports and too hard to defend for Oldenburg. But can they get going against the counter-attack? ELMP kind of putting the ball into nowhere. Xifia is going for the challenge. Now Smiley finally successful in the challenge. ELMP puts it down. That's a ball drop. Good shot from Smiley, but CY beautiful clear there. Gets it saved from the top right of his own goal.
And Smiley with a well-placed shot there, but not quite the power I think he would have hoped for there. Allowing Sai the time to just jump and just go for it and make quite a simple save in the end. But as we had in the problem with the first game, we're just not really seeing Oldenburg attack as aggressively as we could or as quick. And again, we see it with proof with Sai being able to challenge from his defense before the Oldenburg are even able to make any sort of threatening challenge. And if we continue to see it like this, I think for the next 3 minutes 15, we might just see no goals in this game because it does feel quite slow and quite lackluster from both teams at the moment.
Yeah, and we are definitely seeing Sai getting into mood, and whilst I'm saying that, he gets another goal in this game, the second goal for him.
And
beautifully
if
done.
the teams could hear me saying they were lackluster, this is the perfect time to prove us wrong. An absolutely great pass to Sai, not really leaving Sai much to be able to do. Sai thinking, you know what, I could probably get a double touch here, popping it straight over Siphius onto the backboard, getting the double touch straight into the goal, and it's not even contested really by that Oldenburg defense. And it's a fantastic goal to lead them 2-0 up. And as it stands, it doesn't really feel like Oldenburg can do much to beat this team.
And I was about to say or call CI popping up right here in this game, already having had his savior when I last wanted to say this, and he comes in with such a beautiful double touch, but now ELMP finally getting an answer here for Oldenburg. Strange situation, to be honest. CY not going for the contest there. Didn't expect that shot coming in, most likely, or even more likely expected his teammates to have to save in case he doesn't get the challenge.
Yeah, and I think that's a massive misplay from Sai, as we're saying. I don't think he was prepared for ELMP to take that shot there. I think he was ready for the pass off of the sidewall. Didn't really want to commit himself to it, knowing he'd take himself out of the play, and instead allows ELMP a free shot. But the first shot that we saw from Siphius coming out there, not quite meaning to be a pass, turns into a pass coming off the sidewall to allow ELMP that opportunity. And we're really seeing ELMP aggress on this Northern Lions defense now.
Yeah, and we see Siphius with a tremendous attempt to get the equalizer in this game, and Oldenburg wants to make real talk. At least it looks like it. And now Rifle Games with the chance. Puts it above Xifia. Oh my god, this is so unfortunate. But again, a 2-goal lead here for Northern Line Esports. Rifle Games with the solid effort, you have to say, puts it above Xifia's, leaving Smiley in a tough spot to defend this, and he just gets the rebound on top of his car, leans it a little backwards, and it rolls right in.
Yeah, definitely, and I think we really should have seen Siphius attacking earlier there. Okay, credit where credit is due. That was a fantastic flicks there from Rifle Games, but nevertheless, we really need to be seeing them commit earlier. Smiley not quite able to clear it, and again, we're seeing an open goal leading to the opportunities for Northern Lions. We're seeing Noddy taking it just over Siphius. Siphius not quite clearing it as well as he should have. Nobody else back there from Oldenburg's team. ELMP, Smiley, both quite slow on the rotation there. An absolutely fantastic finish, fantastic follow-up. Quite simple, right into the open goal. But nevertheless, 4-1 to Northern Lions. And it doesn't look like Oldenburg have that opportunity to bring this back now.
Yeah, 3 goals is definitely a hard amount of goals to score in less than 1.5 minutes, but Oldenburg do have to do so, or they lose the first series here. The opening series for the reigning EURC champions 2019. And this would be horrific for Oldenburg if they lose this.
As it stands, not only have they not really contested, we're seeing Siphius quite slow there again on the challenge. And as I was just saying, this game really would be quite the upset if in the first game we see the number 1 seed from 2019 going out, and we're most likely going to see it now. Noddy with a fantastic wall play there, going up off of the side willing to find his teammate, pop it straight into the center for Sai. Sai not looking to put it anywhere but the goal, not looking for another teammate there, just thinking if I put this on target, chances are it's probably going in. And he does exactly that. It's not perfectly placed, it's just towards the center, and it seems like everywhere they place the shots at the moment, the goal is open.
Yeah, and what happening is right now is what I feared to happen this evening. Oldenburg not looking as strong as they have been at some point. And as I've mentioned before, they also struggled in Uniliga, German University Rocket League in the first division this season. And it looks like they just lost some kind of momentum. They lack a bit of precision in their offensive plays. The ideas are still there. Nice centering passes, good passing play right there. Now a solo effort by ELMP, gets it dribbled by 2, but it won't matter in the end. It's 8 seconds on the clock, and I doubt that this will be enough to score 3 goals to equalize this game.
Yeah, and I think one of the problems we've been seeing in this game, and it will really need to change for when Oldenburg go through to this lower bracket, ELMP needs to stop being relied on so much by his teammates. And that's not to discredit Siphius and Smiley. They've been playing okay this series, but nowhere near as good as we know they're able to play. And we're seeing Northern Lions as the first team to go through this upper bracket. And Oldenburg, 2019 champs, did they really look like it this game?
Well, I don't know what to say about this. This is so sad.
But I think to comment on the amount of saves there that came through from Northern Lions, 4 from Sai, 3 from Noddy, and it really kind of did go to show Sai was so pivotal to that Northern Lions team. 4 goals, 4 saves, 4 shots. That's what's one of the most impressive stats on there is the 4 shots and 4 goals, 100%. And that is just something we do not expect to see at this level.
Definitely. I think Noddy is also kind of high rated in terms of how they look on paper compared to CI, I guess, but he really stepped up this game. Incredible performance by CY this game. He has had a savior medal like 1 minute into the game, and I mentioned it just right before he scored that tremendous double tap there to the 2-0 lead for Northern Line Esports. And well, this was the first series of today. We have to get a big F in the chat, I guess, for this one. Oldenburg, the reigning champions of 2019, losing their first series here and their first series in the EURC 2020. And
yeah, definitely.
I definitely did not expect this to happen.
No, I don't think anybody was expecting this to happen. We knew what Oldenburg were capable of. We knew how they can play. And we really weren't expecting it to go like that. It was... even from game 1, Oldenburg winning that game, it wasn't quite as simple as they won because they were the better team. They won because they capitalized on the single triple commit that we saw coming out from Northern Lions. And after that, Northern Lions just didn't seem to make those kind of mistakes again. And we did see some rotational mistakes, yes, but the double and triple commits leading to goals, we didn't really see too much of from Northern Lions. And I think from that second game, Northern Lions just looked the stronger team. They played the stronger team. And I think the victory there just kind of goes to show that overall they were the better team in the end.
Well, if we were about to see this exact series happen again, I'm not willing to say that it would turn out different because in the end it was really dominant performance of Northern Line Esports. You have to admit that, and Oldenburg Avengers simply couldn't keep up in terms of pace, in terms of precision when it comes to scoring. We didn't get to see a lot of solo effort plays like from players like Smiley or not the super well sort dual plays from ELMP and Smiley that we've seen like in the EURC 2019. But for now, of course, Oldenburg Avengers are not out of this competition really yet. They moved to the lower bracket, and I think Well, it's not the only German team. Speaking for the Germans right here, for me and for the chat and for German University League, they're not the only German team to keep our hopes up high. And there is one left that we are about to see after we go into a short break, and it's Berlin Phoenix, and they are playing against either the winner of UniPD team. Oh, let me get this full name. UniPD team. What Team A from Padua against Brighton Babes, and Brighton Babes, and we do not yet know how this series will turn out. So far, it's UniPD leading 2-1 against Brighton, but we will have clarity about that just after a short break. So stay tuned. We are about to leave for 5 minutes, and see you soon.
For the stars, traveling so far, like a dragonfly. Just grab my hand from him, send with me tonight. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna for the stars, traveling so far, like a dragonfly. Keep your secrets there, hide them everywhere. Just you and I run away.
The EURC 2020 group stage day 1. I'm here with my co-caster Kissing, and we have just witnessed a surprising outcome of the first series with Northern Lion Esports taking down the defending champions of 2019 Oldenburg Avengers in 3-1 in the best of 5 series. And this still has to sink in, at least for me. But we are about to go into the second series of this evening, of course, which happens to be Berlin Phoenix. Let me check. Oh, okay. This is why I checked, and it was for a reason, because Berlin Phoenix is not fighting or playing UniPD from Padua right now, but they are playing Brighton Babes, because this is the team that won in overtime.
Yeah, so we've seen what was obviously, as we've just discussed, quite a surprising defeat there on Oldenburg's half. I think both of us expected Northern Lions to come out a little weaker than what they did, but we definitely expected Oldenburg to come out stronger. And in this next game, Berlin Phoenix, Brighton Babes, this is going to be a really, really good matchup. I've got to admit, I don't know too much about Padua, but I know about Brighton Babes, and they've got Ferrell 1900, solid player. Wardley, again, really high-ranked player, roughly 1800s, and then a slightly lower subbed player at the moment. But that as a team is extremely strong, but you've got to bear it in mind, this Berlin Phoenix team, Nagflo, Dot, and then obviously we have to mention him because he is most likely going to be the player to watch this time, and that is obviously Tigray.
Yeah, I mean, they still might be a little demoralized from the CRL or the NA Intercontinental Showdown, EU University teams versus NA. I guess most of you guys in the stream haven't missed those show matches, and well, Berlin Phoenix got beaten by Akron there in a kind of dominant fashion, 3-1. But I don't know how much to weight this at all, because I'm very, very sure about Berlin Phoenix not training so much lately, because Tigray is playing RCS, of course, and he's definitely training a lot with the AS Monaco. Same for Gnagflo, who's playing RS with the team Vertex. Definitely will not have too much time to spend training for the university team of Berlin Phoenix for now. But still, I think they are definitely looking to be one of the favorites in this tournament in the EURC 2020.
Yeah, and obviously I can't speak for Berlin's team as a whole, having not actually seen them play yet as a full matchup. But just knowing they've got that opportunity to play Tigray at all really does bump up a team. But also, do we think it's going to damage the mentality for Brighton going into this, knowing full well they're going to be faced up against such an impressive player?
Yeah, it might actually be, but well, I can tell you that Berlin Phoenix with the Tigray and Gnagflo, of course. Gnagflo has been the striker throughout the 2019 winter season of German University Rocket League, and Berlin Phoenix, I think the most impressive stat to show it are like they average to get 4.7 shots against in each game, which is like the most overwhelming stat for me, I think, in the past season, in the German University past season, Rocket League season, because it's kind of far away from the rest of the teams, and it's impressive that they have been able to shut down most of the plays, even though a lot of teams that were playing them were a good, definitely were a challenge, and it was not totally to be seen that they will win for 100%, but they still managed to shut down enemy plays so fast in the midfield and don't allow them to actually really get their plays going. And I'm very curious about if they can make it against a team like Brighton Braves.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some impressive plays in this game. I think the last game, it's quite difficult to speak about. Obviously, both teams have just come in. They're quite cold, coming in off of no games really haven't been played beforehand. So we did see a lot of mistakes coming out. And that was not just rotational mistakes, but mechanical mistakes, positioning mistakes, and just the kind of things we don't expect to see once a team's been playing a bit more frequently in the day. However, Brighton Babes, they are such a good quality team. Ferrell, very rarely making many mistakes. Wardley, again, not making too many mistakes. I can't speak too much for their third, because I believe today they've actually got a sub in place of Hazard, which is their standard player. So they've got a sub, relatively unknown player. So it'll be interesting to see if their dynamic changes from how they usually play, which is obviously with Hazard, and they are an incredible team when they have their full roster. So it'll be interesting to see what this sub actually does for them and whether it affects them too much, whether we see many double commits coming out and whether we see many rotational misplays.
Yeah, of course. I think it's something special for every competing team here to play with the sub and to show that they are also capable of having good communication, good positional play, even when playing with the sub, which they don't trade with that regularly. Definitely not necessary to do so, but yeah. And let's check in the lobby fast. I think there's a Berlin Phoenix team who couldn't hold themselves, but joining their teams, willing to get the play going, but we are just missing the last players, I guess.
I think we actually have every player in the lobby.
Yeah.
I think it was just Nagflow joining that a little bit too prematurely there. So we are just going to jump straight into the match, and we see Ferrell facing off against Dot for the start of this matchup between Berlin Phoenix and Brighton Babes.
Right, that went fast, but I think you guys only missed 2 or 3 seconds. We apologize for that, but we have it going right now. And I hope players are confused of that as well, but for now it's like a back and forth. Nagflow now trying to clear the ball out of his field. Getting challenged for Tigre is there for the follow-up. The center pass to Dot. What a play by Berlin Phoenix already fell. Sorry, Ferrell-dinho. I was very confused by that name. I will just call him Ferrell in the upcoming time. But what a save and what a read by him to actually manage to defend this 6th series of shots by Berlin Phoenix there. 4 saves already on the scoreboard for Brighton Babes.
Yeah, and that was absolutely incredible straight off of the bat there. We saw Dom coming in with one of the greatest saves so far that we've seen of the day. Coming in, just popping it straight onto his crossbar. Ferrell, knowing he needs to follow up there, can't allow a shot to come in from any of that Berlin Phoenix team, knowing for well if it does, they're probably going to be stuck on the back foot. And we were saying about this sub, and as we can see straight away, the sub coming in with arguably one of the most important plays so far.
Oh, now Dot centering a pass again. Tigre going for the fake, now making his way back. Yeah, and this is good rotational play here by Berlin Phoenix. Nagflow denying the midfield play. This is exactly what I was about to say before this game started. They are shutting down the enemy plays before they actually make it happen. And look at this triple commits then, the defensive side for Brighton Babes. Barely managing to keeping Tigre away from shooting this in. And yeah, Berlin Phoenix is putting up a sick offensive right now.
Yeah, they really are. And at the moment, I hate to say it, but Brighton really do not look like the most comfortable. Dot not able to put a shot on target. Wardley coming in with the block there. Wardley being Wards, just for anybody watching. And it is an absolutely incredible play. Ferrell trying to go for the counter-attack. And we're just seeing this game going from end to end so far. And at the start, we really did see Berlin Phoenix putting on all of the aggression, all of the attack. Brighton Babes just stuck on the defense, not really able to do much. And straight away, we see a turnaround coming through. Ferrell starting the offense for the team. Wardley and Dom both getting involved, just trying to keep the pressure away from their own half. Because when it's there, and it's making it very difficult. Not quite able to put it on target there. And the follow-up not quite on target either.
Yeah, Knackflo, the golden striker of a German University League, just can't quite hit the spot 2 times in a row right now. And Tigro now going for the follow-up, trying to make this happen. He forces a double commit there by Wards and Dunweb in the midfield and almost gets a double tap in the post again, but this time Dot is there for the follow-up shot and gives his team a 1-goal lead.
And I think it was just inevitable, really. There's so much pressure going on to this Brighton defense at the moment. Berlin absolutely relentless, shot after shot after shot, and it goes to show we're currently 3 minutes into the match and 7 saves on the Brighton side. One of the most important saves coming out from Dom, but the only save he's made so far. Ferrell and Wardley both coming in, trying to make sure that the ball's just not going in, and they just can't do it. There's only so much damage and battering that your goal can take before a goal eventually goes in.
Yeah, and Berlin Phoenix are just having at ease at keeping up this pressure, at least it looks like, and it's most likely Farrell for the Brighton Babes who's actually able to get good challenges and good effort in solo plays to eventually get something going for his team. But for now, the Berlin Phoenix defense also not having that many mistakes. Now another double commit by Farrell and Wards, trying to deny the air drag by Tigray. Shot on goal for Dot, but easily defended, and now they eventually counter-attack.
Yeah, we're really seeing Brighton trying to make plays, trying to get that ball away from their own goal, and they're just not able to do so. That Berlin defense is just so strong, and their midfield play is just, at the moment, unbreakable. It really is just a barrier that, as it stands, Brighton have not figured out a way to just break down. Ferrell, Wardley trying to come up with some connective plays there. Dom just trying to put it back into centre. Nagflo taking it off of his backboard. And again, we'll see Berlin trying to take it out. Wardley going for a double touch, not quite able to make it. Tigray coming in with the challenge, and here we're going to see Wards stuck on defence in what is quite a difficult situation. Fake coming through from Tigray. Dot going for the shot, putting it high and wide. And Dom happy to just try and look for the clear here. Ferrell challenging Tigray. Tigray managing to get the better of the 50-50 there.
Yeah, I think staying in that corner was a very dangerous decision for Tigray, and it looks like Berlin is very confident in their performance to win this game, doing something like that, and the last 3 seconds are ticking down this clock right now. As Farrell goes for a little dribble, keeping the ball up, but it's now about to touch the ground, and the first game ended, and it's 1-0 for Berlin Phoenix versus Brighton Babes right here. And even though this was just a 1-goal game, we simply have to take a look at this tremendous amounts of shots on the side of Berlin Phoenix, and accordingly the amount of saves at Brighton Babes. It's 10 saves here for Brighton Babes, and on the other side 16 shots on goal for Berlin Phoenix. And this is basically just insane. And I was calling out the 4 saves for Brighton Babes within the first minute of the game, so it just speaks for the insane offensive assault Berlin Phoenix launched in the first minute of the game, because, well, they had 4 saves in the first minute of the game and had to do another 4 in all the remaining 4 minutes. So this is kind of harsh.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is relentless. If anybody had said before the start of the game, who would they expect to have been the carry on this team, I don't think Tigray would have been a doubt in anybody's mind. But actually, coming straight out of the bat, Nagflo, he might be on top just in terms of points, but he's on top in the actual game itself. He is absolutely relentless. He has been pressuring and been piling on just copious amounts of shots towards that Brighton backboard and that Brighton defence, and it really is becoming a bit of a struggle. And it's one of those things that even with the 10 saves they made, the one they didn't is just what has punished them. A 1-0 game just really does show the sheer quality of both teams, especially in such a high shooting, high defence game. It really does make all the difference. Having that one save, Nagflo out of the gates early, not quite able to make a shot, popping it just on to the crossbar there, and Ferrell will be happy to try and take this out. But Nagflo with the demo, and that's going to be dangerous. But Dom opting just to pass it up to Wardley. Wardley not quite quick enough for Dot, and Ferrell is going to be left in a 1v1 against Dot here. Dot with the better challenge. Tigri dropping it down for Nagflow. Nagflow putting it in, and Feral on the commit. And this is where we could see goals going in on Brighton's half, because it's so important to be making goals there. Feral not quite able to put that on target, but that is the kind of play they need to look at doing. They need the counter-attacks, they need the demos, they need the pressure.
Yeah, I think you have to acknowledge the amount of work Feral is putting into play right for his team. But speaking of that, another shot from Blackflow, only hitting the inside of the right post. But he's coming at it again. Now demo coming in, not for Berlin Phoenix, but for Brighton Babes on the counter-attack. Feral dragging the ball. Dot quite confusing him. It's kind of surprising to me. Oh my god! No, that I thought I would have that time to get some summary of the game. We get another offensive going. Watch just getting a slight miss at the own backboard, allowing Knackflow to put the ball away, centering it for Tigray, who gets a good shot, and just simply giving Berlin Phoenix the 1-0 lead again here in game 2.
Yeah, and that was a really unfortunate miss there from Wards, but seconding that miss, Dom makes another miss, and leaving Feral to try and defend against two of this Berlin attack is just not feasible. And we might see a goal coming in here from Wardley, trying to pop it through. Dot just seeing that pass coming through off of the sidewall, knowing to predict that, and that is great breakup play there from Berlin, not allowing Brighton any real chance to get an attack going. And we're seeing it transition so quickly from Berlin to Brighton, Brighton to Berlin, Berlin to Brighton, and it really is just so much faster gameplay than we've been seeing so far. And I really couldn't tell you who I expect to be winning this game at this point in time, with the sheer offense they're doing with, say, Berlin, but the defense coming through from Brighton is just so strong. And we're seeing Feral again.
Tigray coming in with wave dash fakes right now. They are definitely having fun right there. And even though it's just a 1-goal game, never mind, it's not a 1-goal game, it's a tied up game. But even though it's a tied up game, I wanted to say this still looks kind of in the hands of Berlin Phoenix. But now Tigray, wanting to fake on the offensive side, gets faked himself by Dombrad.
And that's just it, is Feral coming through there, knowing that Tigray has already seen how capable he is a player at the start of this match. And sorry, we're just seeing Nagflow with a 50 on Dom, almost scoring there. But like we were just saying, Tigray realizing how good his opponent is, respecting the fact that he could pull off a great shot, opts instead to go for the challenge, goal scored, and then we just see it happen in return on the other side.
Well, it's just the pace of Berlin Phoenix paying off right now. They already managed to get another 12 shots on goal, even though we're just slightly more than halfway through this game. And considering the amount of misses Knackflow has done this game, it could have been way worse. Knackflow definitely not being warm right now. Now another offensive attempt, Tigray putting the ball to the mid, but Feral again, of course. Who else? Successful on the clear, gets a wide clear there. Tigray is already on his way back, answering this. And again, Feral.
And Feral probably looking to go up there. Dot just managing to break up that play. Tigray's going to try and pop it centre. Centre for Nags. Nags not quite able to get a hard enough shot. And we'll see Dom just trying to take it out and off. But he's going to get challenged by Tigray. Brilliant 50, not able to get another touchdown. Dot just coming in to intercept that. Tigray looking to try and take it round. Pop it into centre for Nag. Nag going through a little bit too early. And we might see the goal open. Dot not quite able to get back in time. But fortunately able to get back to clear it from that far side wall.
Oh, now Feral with the center pass idea, but the only one he finds is Knackflow, who can put the ball further into the Brighton Waves half there. Also just earlier was a 3-on-1 for Berlin Phoenix in the Brighton Waves half. And they're really outpacing them right now. Again, Feral, the last man standing, and it's 3 Berlin players right in front of the Brighton Babes goal. Now Ward's finally getting successful clear here. Tigray centering it again. Knackflow instantly there. They're so fast on this.
And this is it. And every single time it looks like Brighton might have just managed to get a clear going, get some defensive action going. Tigray, Nagflow and Dot just piling on the pressure again, making sure they cannot clear it any further. And we're seeing 6 saves coming through from Brighton and still conceding 3 goals. the absolutely relentless pressure from Nagflow. 9 shots this game so far. And it really does look like, even though they're trying their hardest, Brighton just cannot keep up with the amount of shots, the amount of power that's been put onto their goal by Nagflow.
Yeah, you just see them flying all across this field. T-Wake, Nagflow definitely enjoying of how this series, or especially this game, is going. And it's just a beautiful setup to watch at, if you ask me. But for now, we're on the counter-attack. Farrell getting a good challenge against Nagflow, but no one's there. The rest of the Brighton Babes team too scared actually to make the plays happen. And they did get insecure on their challenges and attempts here to challenge the balls. And I think they did for a reason.
Definitely, and I think at this point, Berlin Phoenix are just happy to take this 3-1 victory. They're not putting on as much pressure in those final seconds as they were at the start and through the midpoint in that game, because they know all they need to do is a little bit just to keep that game going, just to keep that 3-1 victory alive, and they're more than happy to take it to a simple 2-0 victory in the series so far. One more game for Berlin Phoenix to win. Brighton Babes are going to need the reverse sweep. Do we think, from what we've seen so far, that Brighton Babes are capable of getting this reverse sweep against a team like Berlin and how they're playing?
Well, I'm the German caster. Yesterday in Talecto's podcast, I voted for Berlin Phoenix to win the EURC 2020 anyway, so I'm not going to say that Brighton Babes will stand a chance in Game 3 right now. But I don't know, I wish for them to get something going, at least a glimpse of hope coming through, because they also had some creative ideas. We had this kind of ball put down from the enemy backboard by Wards, and Farrell was just barely not in range to make this goal happen there. But considering that there are so many shots put in goal, and those are, at least part-wise, very, very scary attempts from Berlin Phoenix, it's still impressive, at least for me, that they managed to just get just lose this game 3-1.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what was also impressive is Nagflow, 10 shots, no goals. And it just shows that you don't have to score the goals to be that damaging on offense with your shots. He really put the pressure on Brighton there. He really took away their capability to use the boost they had. And in turn, just allowing Tigri the opportunity to follow up most of his shots with a goal, taking out the opportunity to save anything. And that's really where we saw those 3 goals coming from.
Yeah, and I can tell you that we have had Nagflow in the German University League Division 1, making the highest score per game and the highest amount of goals per game, but he does not have the highest accuracy. And now we have Farrell with the, I'd like to say solo effort, but it's actually Wards putting it in, but he outplays Dot right there, gets a nice dribble, and actually is able to put it on target afterwards, and Wards is there to cover it up anyway. But this is exactly the glimpse of hope I was speaking of. That Brighton Babes coming in with the 1-0 lead here, 20 seconds into this game.
Yeah, and the minute Tigri is taken out of the play altogether, we see the first goal going towards Brighton. Tigri taken out so early, right at the very start of that game. We see Farrell going for an absolutely fantastic head dribble there, not quite able to put it on. And unfortunately, Wards has just dropped it just to the left of Dom. That does leave him on a 2v1. No one able to follow that up. And now we're going to see Farrell in a 1v1v Dot. And this is dangerous. But the second challenge coming in a little bit too late there from Wards, trying to take Dot out of that play, not able to do so. And we see Tigri immediately with the response. The entire team ready to push up. Tigri passing to Nagflow. Nagflow back to Tigri. Tigri following, popping it just over the top of Farrell, just to the left of Wards there. Not able to get that defense in. And we see it tying up 1 apiece.
And it's equalized already, and this was kind of sad to watch Farrell having his solo attempt. He saw the 1v1 situation where there's a Dot, and just whilst I'm speaking, we have a goal right here. What is it? No, it's really unfortunate. Dome just following it up, that kickoff cheat a little too close, and Dot simply winning the kickoff in a too good fashion here, puts it above his opponent.
And that's a really unfortunate 50 on that kickoff there. I mean, it's arguably not the greatest kickoff there from Brighton, and Dot just really punishing it. Great kickoff. able to get the 50 on the first one, popping it just over the second man following up, and it just going in too fast for the third man to get back into the goal there, and it's just unfortunate.
And Farrell is just showing us some beautiful air car control right here in this game.
And we're seeing Dom trying to put it onto the backboard. Tigri falling off a little bit early. Dot just leaving the ball from Tigri, clearly calling that he's still got it. Tigri looking to go onto the side, but Nagflow is just going to keep it going, and he's going to get the flick just over, and no one able to get back onto defence quick enough. And that's a bit of a miscommunication there. You'd have expected a third man to be in goal. Dom going for the demo, not quite able to get it, opting to go for the path of the boost first, not going straight back to goal, leaving it open. Nagflow popping it over, making it a 3-1 game, 3 minutes 18 left.
Nagflow aiming to get a better shooting efficiency in this game compared to his last. Now he's at 50%, which is better than 0. But again, we have the 3-1 lead for Berlin Phoenix here. Not even halfway through this game 3.
And we've definitely seen a change, even in the playstyle from Berlin here. I mean, we saw such a high number of shots coming out, real aggression and pressure onto the Brighton defence. In this game, they've almost just let Brighton come and take a bit more aggression onto their side and said, you know what, we're going to counter-attack you instead. And it's been working really well right at the very start. Not much pressure looking like it was coming out from Berlin, and now Berlin really holding all of the cards.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just give in to the enemy team's pace and let them do what they want. And even against a team like Berlin Phoenix right here, you have to get your things going, you have to do the challenges, you have to believe in yourself, be confident, and try to put up the pace yourself, because otherwise you're just giving away possession everywhere.
Yeah, and just seeing it at the moment, it almost does look like Berlin have tried to slow down to Brighton's pace, knowing full well it's going to throw them off more than it will throw Berlin off, sorry. And it actually has, it's been working for them. They've played a little bit slower, but the chances they've created have been more important. And just as I say that, Dot trying to put the ball onto the backboard. I don't think he was going for any kind of shot here, any follow-up. He was looking for Nag. Nag not quite able to get it. And Dom just coming in over the top and just unfortunately popping it straight down into his own net. And it's just such an unfortunate play, especially how early they started this game and how fantastic they began. For it to go like this, you almost feel sorry for them.
The hope appears to be shattered after they got the leading goal into this game. And afterwards they conceded this kickoff goal, and now the own goal by Wards. 1 minute and 36 seconds left on the clock right here. Can they make 3 goals happen? Farrell with a beautiful shot, but Knuckles there from the backboard.
And Farrell is trying to put some really damaging shots onto that Berlin backboard, and he's just not able to do so. The Berlin defense is just so strong, so powerful. Even when they double commit, they get the ball to go so far that it's not really a struggle from Dot coming through, not able to make contact. Getting a little bit cheeky there, I think. But we do like to see it. Team's 4-1 up, and they're just deciding to have a little bit of fun now.
Well, speaking of that attempt of Dot's, I can connect to what I was about to say earlier when a goal happened, so I stopped. But I think it's it's happening again on the one hand, but on the other hand, it's really amusing, at least for me, to see this Berlin Phoenix team play, because they are somewhat or somehow so solid in defense, even though they make plays like that. And Dot is a player that commits for so strange angles. It's actually amusing for me, and I think it not only puts the enemy team out of concept a couple of times, but it's also working out for the Berlin team. But it's definitely not working out now. Dome not missing this shot. Dot.
Dome making us all panic there a little bit. He follows up the shot and he's just like, well, you know, I'm just going to show you we don't just score simply. It can't just go into the center of the goal. We have to hit the crossbar first. And it's just a solid shot. Both teams at the moment in chat with each other, having a bit of fun, having a bit of a laugh, and we're just going to see it go to 5-3. Another kickoff goal, and even Wards is saying, come back, and maybe we can see it.
Yeah, maybe we also see bonds created in the EURC man's Discord channel right here, because Dot is definitely playing a lot there lately, I think. But still, we have 38 seconds on the clock to tick down.
And we're seeing a nice kickoff coming in there from Wards. No one really there to follow it up, but Ward's coming in with the shot. Not able to get the block on midfield play. Ferrell beating out Tigray there, and Dom just missing the goal. Warley with the follow-up misses again. Hits the corner, and you could think that was arguably the most important shot he will have this game. Not putting that on target has pretty much sealed the game there for Berlin. And now we're probably going to see a Berlin victory, even if it is 5-3. You could have argued, would they have had the opportunity to get that kickoff goal back? But now we'll never know. With the 2-1, 0 seconds countdown, we're going to see Berlin so far starting off all of these with complete sweeps over their opposition.
Yeah, and right now all my thoughts are with Wards, who is not only conceding this kickoff goal, the own goal, and then missing this shot that could have eventually made this a one-goal game and get his team to a spot to play on from. But, well, it didn't happen. Berlin Phoenix clean sweeping Brighton Babes into the low bracket here of the EURC 2020, and there's nothing much to say. I think the last game, this one, Brighton Babes really tried to just get their own place going, keep up the pace or set a level of pace. You see at the amount of shots, 13 shots on goal here for Brighton Babes. This is like 2 or 3 times the amount of shots they actually managed to get on a target in the last 2 games. And on the other side, we have Berlin Phoenix with just 6 shots on goal, and they have scored 5 of those. So efficiency was more their way in this game compared to the other first games. But overall, I have to admit it was a very dominant performance of Berlin Phoenix. And Brighton Babes made a good play, tried to get a good answer, try to structure their offensive plays, their team play in general, especially for the third game, but they couldn't make it work to just stand up against a team like Berlin Phoenix.
Yeah, definitely. And you have got to feel sorry for Wards there. I mean, he played an absolutely incredible game that whole series, and for that final game to have so many unfortunate misplays against him, and it's hard to say they were even all his fault for the most part. A few mechanical slip-ups and a few rotational mistakes just caused them to lose that game. But we saw an extremely dominant performance from Berlin. But at the same time, that's not to say Brighton didn't play exceptionally well themselves. Both teams deserve a clap for themselves for that game. Although a 3-0 sweep is a 3-0 sweep, it doesn't do justice on how much defensive effort was shown there by Brighton against such a powerful, aggressive team. It's just so amazing, so incredible. And I really look forward to seeing Brighton's run through the lower brackets to see if it's possible for them to come up with some sort of victory through those lower brackets.
Well, I mean, seeing at the game at the teams that are competing for the EURC 2020, there can just be good teams in the loser bracket. There's no other way. The losers bracket will be a very competitive scene as well, and it's definitely worth taking a look at, I think. I mean, Oldenburg Avengers, the reigning 2019 EURC champs, got sent there as well, but that doesn't automatically mean that it will get easier from there. Not at all. And I'm very curious about how Brighton Babes will deal their way there as well. But for now, Berlin Phoenix swept them out of the upper bracket, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, we have no further ado but to announce the next match that we are going to see after we take a little break again, and it will be another German played series. Sounds like it's scripted to me, but it will be the Engines Stuttgart against the UWE C-Stacks, and I think we are about to give it a talk about the teams, the players, the performances, the structures, just right after a 5-minute break. So stay hydrated, get yourself a drink or something, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. See you. And once again, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the European Rocketeers Championship 2020. I'm still here with my co-caster, Kilsink, and we have 2 series done. We are 2 series deep into the evening. 2 series are left to go. And the next we are about to see will happen between the Engines Stuttgart and the UWEC Stacks.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be quite an incredible lineup. But I think to begin, we've got quite a peculiar, shall we say, defeat in one of the other brackets here. So, did you want to speak about that at all?
Yeah, totally. But we should definitely go through that before we are about to talk about the next upcoming series. And I guess you were referring to the winners' second round with a Northern Line Esports, who just recently beat Oldenburg Avengers against the University of Jyväskylä.
Yeah, and that was unbelievable. It was not what we were expecting. So Jyväskylä were one of the highest predicted teams to really go through and beat it, while Northern Lions were one of the most predicted to not go through and kind of lose in the losers rounds quite early on. And instead they've beaten Oldenburg 3-1, which we saw on stream earlier. And although it wasn't the highest gameplay, they were still the dominant team of the two. And then they've gone and beaten Jyväskylä 3-0, and they've completely swept them. And it just goes to show that we really can't predict this. Some of the teams that we expect to do incredible and really quite well are not performing as well as we'd expect, and other teams that are just kind of dark horses have really come along and just absolutely smashed the other teams out of the water so far.
Yeah, this basically is Rocket League for me. You will always have some strange, let's call them strange performances, and teams that are totally stepping up and teams that underperform a little bit. And if I'm not mistaken, University of Jyväskylä played with a sub player instead of Marker in their standard roster today. But Marker as well, I think, was one of the lower players in their roster. So the sub should not have affected the team too heavy, but a clean sweep by Northern Line Esports is actually insane. I mean, we have seen Northern Line Esports perform, I'd say, better and better throughout the series against Oldenburg Avengers, and Sai was just performing out of his mind, and I'm very sure that he must have done that in the series against University of Jyväskylä as well.
Yeah, definitely. And on to the game at hand. We've got UWEC Stags versus Engines Stuttgart. And we're going to see some quite incredible players coming out this series. You've got Sebadam, who plays for Monaco as their sub. Recently, having joined the UWEC Stags, I think it was this season that he joined as taken over from one of their lower ranked players and really coming in and stepping up for that team and taking them into the top kind of brackets. They're one of the best teams we have now, especially in the NSC rosters, and quite a strong contester for the EURC roster against the Engines Stuttgart's team. Of course, some of the players we've seen play a few times, and some have really got some quite strong potential. And I'm just quite excited to see how this is going to go.
Yeah, definitely. So am I. But speaking of the C-Stacks and some freshly added members, the same goes for Engines Stuttgart. They are about to play with a new player called Ed Ghost in the upcoming German University Rocket League Division 1 as well. And it appears to be desired that he's not playing today for the Engines Stuttgart roster. You already mentioned this. We have seen those players quite a couple of times, not only in the German scene, but also in the European scene. And for now, they are playing today with All That Remains, Satoru and Ed Ghost, who, by the way, just recently won the RCS bets on Jesse's Twitter. So congratulations to that. But yeah, all players are in lobby. We still can do some talk about that, but I don't know about you, Kissing, but we could also just rather tune in.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice for these players. I think since they're all ready to go, I think it'd just be nice for them to just jump in straight to the game. I think they'll want to get started. They'll want to play, and they'll want to see who is the better team coming out here. But I think we could see a really strong performance, and I think we could see one of our first 3-2 series with both teams really challenging each other here.
Yeah, I wish for that to happen. And with that said, I gave the go in the all chat. Players are taking their spots, and we're about to tune in into the third series of this evening, the first day of group stage of the EURC 2020. And let's see if the injured Stuttgart can pull through against a team like the Sea Stacks right here.
And we're seeing a strong kickoff and strong start coming out from Engine Stuttgart right there. Jordan trying to clear that off of his own backboard, managing to do so. All that remains trying to challenge, both players missing. Sebadam going in for the second challenge on Adgoes. Incognito with a massive miss there, and Adgoes just falls onto it. A very rogue car choice from Adgoes, it must be said. We'll come back to that in a minute, because this was just a really quite bad miss. It's really cost these UWEC Stags this first goal, and we're seeing a really early 1-goal lead to Adgoes there from what was a relatively simple play.
I didn't get that acoustically. Did you say, was it rude car choice by Adgoes?
No, I said it was quite a rogue car choice. Quite different. It's just not the kind of car choice we expect to see. We've got I think it's the Jeep Wrangler coming out from Adgoes there, and I mean, if you feel comfortable playing in it, then why not? I think they standardise quite a lot of the cars now, so it's really much of a muchness.
Yeah, definitely. But well, speaking of, I don't know how that shot got through anyway. But Engine Stuttgart taking the lead 1-0 in the first game. And since then, it has been back and forth for both teams right now. That remains weakly out of his own half. Satoru getting the follow-up. Nice challenge there by Incognito. Getting
Incognito
it above
pulling
one.
up quite a nice challenge. And Satoru looking to pop it underneath. All that remains is going to have an open goal, but he's put it far too wide. I don't think he quite meant to do that. I think he was just opting to go for the corner there. Incognito going for a challenge on Satoru. Satoru just coming off the ceiling with the shot. Jordan happy to clear that. And we see the Jeep Wrangler Adgoes going in for it again. Coming in with a demo on Incognito. Probably looking to pop this centre now. Does so. All that remains with the follow-up shot. Sebadam happy to clear. And Incognito with a 50 sending it right off back into Engine Stuttgart's corner.
Yeah, and except for that really fast goal one, we've not seen much lately, I'd say. Now Sebada with a beautiful challenge against the Satoru. Adgoes has to commit there. Make the clear for his team now. Buys a beautiful amount of time for his team to recover. Pick up some boosts, and now there's Satoru with the follow-up.
Yeah, we've definitely been seeing slower play. All that remains coming in with a shot. Adgoes with the follow-up.
How is
Adgoes
this
50 goes
in?
onto the ceiling, bounces straight back down into the net. No one on UWEC Stags back to be able to vend. And it's an unfortunate 50 there, going straight into the goal. You see it sometimes, and you still feel sorry for the teams it happens to. And that Jeep Wrangler really coming in hot and coming in strong for this Engine Stuttgart's team so far.
Holy moly. This were some really strange goals happening so far, both for Adgoes with his Jurassic car powered car. Now there's a chance, beautiful pass for Incognito, gets it above one, high enough for Sabada to go for, and there is the follow-up goal here.
And it's definitely not the kind of goals you expect to see coming in. Incognito with a beautiful flick into the pass into the middle. Sebadam clearly being told he's going for the pass there, reading it early, jumping early, putting a slow shot on target, just dropping it under the bar. Adgo's not quite able to maneuver his car well enough to get the block on there. And we just see the game go into a 2-1 game, and what is some fantastic play so far from both teams.
Definitely, and I think both teams are getting more and more used to each other now. Beautiful play, beautiful clear by Satoru to all that remains, but also well challenged and conquered there by Sabada. Now Incognito with the
that's a bad drop to the middle there on the Stuttgart's offense. Jordan looking to put it high. All that remains is going to have trouble dealing with this. No one following up. Adgo's happy to just clear it from his side of the backboard, going for a 50. Satoru following up there, and Incognito able to pop it back into his corner. But we really see some pressure coming out from both teams, and it's just backwards and forwards so far. Neither team really looking the stronger of the two, but it will be interesting to see if Engine Stuttgart are able to hold on to their lead, which they might be able to do. Jordan not quite able to defend it. All that remains coming from the follow-up from Adgo's pass here. And he looked like he might just be able to squeeze it under the crossbar. Not quite. Jordan just missing the hit there, and all that remains just being the faster of the two.
Yeah, still
3-1
beautiful
victory.
challenge by Adgoes there, and no one but Jordan left to get the save on this shot. and he committed earlier, so in case the Stuttgart players have seen this coming, it was well seen, because after Sebada's commitment there was no one left but Jordan to get a save on this. Now beautiful pass midfield,
Oh!
that goes! And
That is
I could swear that
lovely.
All That Remains had a touch on that.
That was a lovely double touch, and it wasn't entirely meant. He gets bumped by Sebadam, gets the touch at first, pass it onto the backboard. He's initially looking to pass it to All That Remains. Sebadam with the hit onto him, hitting it up just enough to be able to get that double touch onto the backboard. Nobody expecting that. And we're seeing a 4-1 early on in this game, a minute left. And I don't quite think UWEC Stags is going to be able to pull this one back in this game. I think this is all but done for the most part. We're seeing Sebadam with a great flick up. Incognito trying to get the 50 here, managing to do so. Sebadam with the follow, and Saturo will manage to get the clear out here.
Yeah, and Angel Stuttgart have played kind of flawless last season in German University League, except at the end where they got beaten by KDC Lombos and Berlin Phoenix, of course. And it's very, very cool for me to see this this team breathe some kind of fresh air with Edgos now playing in the Stuttgart roster. But there's a counter goal for Incognito, 16 seconds left on the goal, and the C-Stacks are not beaten yet.
Definitely not. And I think even Sebadam knows here, he can go for goal, he can go for just above the crossbar, just on that lower backboard, opts to go for the backboard, knowing that his teammate is clearly following up. Follow-up does come through, very, very simple placement into the top center of the goal, and we see a 4-2 game, 8 seconds left, looking like UWEC Stags all but out in this game, and we're looking like we'll be going off into game 2.
Alright, this has been a rather amusing opener. Ed goes dancing alone with his car, and that is also very reasonable if you're asking me, with the Jurassic Park car. And the first 2 goals for Ed goes, where I still have no clue how he actually managed to get a goal from those, especially the first one, where just side flicked in the enemy corner. He side flicked and just flew to the enemy goal. Luckily, having the ball there right in front of him, it was really, really strange to look at. But, well, Angel Stuttgart managed to get a quite solid lead here in the end, considering the last goal for the C-Stacks came in the last 16 seconds. It was a 4-0 lead. In the end, 4-2 for Angel Stuttgart, still quite dominant. And, well, the scoreboard looks quite balanced to me, and so has the series felt to me. And if Edgar's didn't have at least those kind of lucky attempts at this first and second goal, I think this series could have gone way different ways.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Adgo's coming out strong there. Those goals, some of them not the most difficult goals to score, really. We saw that first one. He does flip off the wall early, but a massive misplay on defense, an easy clear opportunity leads to that open goal. And after that, most of the top players that we've seen playing so far are able to rotate their cars, have enough car control, aerial car control at least, to be able to put shots on target. And we're really going to have to see the UWEC Stags making a lot fewer mistakes here if they are going to be taking this. And straight off the bat, as I say that, we've got Incognito, not the greatest clear here, popping it straight onto the sidewall. Saturo reading it, passing it centre, knowing he's got both teammates available. All that remains, practically an open goal to aim at, and just pops it right into the corner where there is a UWEC Stags defender, and it doesn't make any difference. 1-0, 12 seconds gone.
Yeah, and it's definitely a hard spot to defend that incoming shot if there's 2 players from left and right actually having a superb chance to make the shot. Now Saturo with the shot, his teammate going for the demolition. Doesn't quite work out for Stuttgart yet. Now Jordan trying to get it along with the dribble. Loses the ball though, but Incognito without boost goes for the follow-up. Pinch into the enemy corner.
And Sebadam fast on the follow there, but not really able to do too much. Aggo is eventually able to get a clear on that. And Incognito challenging him. All that remains, not quite able to get the clear, and it's going to be left pretty open. Sebadam not able to put a shot on target. He's got the boost, fakes out one player, goes for the shot over the top of All That Remains, and All That Remains so fast on the defense there, able just to jump up in enough time to clear that ball off, and that could easily have been 1-1, but fantastic defensive plays there from All That Remains.
Yeah, very patient shot there by Sabata as well. Beautiful placement, but as you mentioned, all that remains just so fast. So fast at reaching the ball there and making the save happen. Now Sabata with another attempt. Cleared by all that remains. Both
Yeah, and we're
teams.
seeing some really, really good plays from both teams here, but unfortunately for UWEC Stags, the more opportunist team here, the team making the most chances really does feel to be Engine Stuttgart, and they're showing that. And just as we say that, Saturo coming in with the goal. Ad goes again with the playmaking, popping it into the corner. Jordan, the most unlucky touch, he's trying to read the first hit, pops it up perfectly into the middle, and it's an absolutely incredible shot there into what is an open goal. But the follow-up play, knowing that he's got the time to read that, is just great vision. And it's things like that that we've just been missing in that first game that we saw. And Incognito trying to redirect that in. All that remains, just happy to put it against side. And Sebadam going for the top corner, managing it absolutely perfect. Coming in off the top corner post, straight into the goal. All that remains, not quite the clear he's looking for. Pops it straight into the side, straight for Sebadam. Sebadam, knowing he's got the opportunity to go for goal, pops it just past Adgoes. An absolutely cracking shot there.
Yeah, beautiful placement. And I do agree on Jordan being very unlucky on that last touch that Adgoes just played on top of his car, but I'd not go as far as saying that it was as unlucky as Wardley in the last game for the Brighton Babes. But still, this has become a one-goal game. Oh, now Jordan with another not so good touch into the sidewall, making the ball bounce back just right in front of his own goal. And is there a goal happening right out of this situation? No, it's not. Incognito gets the clear. Ed goes from the sidewall, tries to get the pace going here. Saturo centers it. Now Jordan with the clear. Now both teams seem to retreat a bit.
Saturo not quite having the boost there to make any sort of play, and Ad goes missing the boost, putting it straight centre for Incognito. Fortunately for him, all that remains there to bail him out. But that's a real misplay, not hitting that boost and then passing it straight into the centre. And if it weren't for all that remains, we could have been seeing a 2-goal game there. Ad goes looking to pop it centre. Not quite able to do so for his own team. Incognito reading that early and straight up. And we'll see Saturo going for the boost. Jordan still trying to pressure him. Getting a little bit of a bump. Quite risky, but Ago's happy to take it out to the sidewall. And we'll probably look to pop it centre now. But he's got 0 boost, which means if this ball goes back, he's going to be struggling to get back on defence there.
Yeah, and for now it looks more like back and forth. And I just want to say that because the C-Stacks just simply don't want to get a 2-goal lead for the enemy team again, but all that remains makes it happen in combination with Adgo's beautiful centering pass there by all that remains, and Adgo's is right in position. And it's definitely lovely to see how this, well, kind of new Stuttgart roster performs at this time.
Yeah, definitely. And Adgo's there was such a pivotal shot. I mean, he sees Sebadam there looking to read his shot, just decides to drop it just behind him. Does so with such perfection, such precision and such class that nobody on that UWEC stack is able to get back in time. And we see the game getting taken to 3-1.
Yeah, the clock is ticking down. 1 minute left to play, but still the C-Stacks can definitely make this happen. Jordan still self-confident, trying to drag the ball away from his own backboard. Now the pass from Incognito. Sebadam and Jordan both on the same spot. This is not the offensive that C-Stacks are trying to get going. At least it should not be. Now they're just hesitating on the ball. It's giving away possession. Adgoes just booms it forward. So true, we're winning the challenge against Jordan.
Yeah, and it really feels like at the moment this UWEC Stags team is just hitting the ball for hitting its sake. They're not really getting too many passes going. They're not really making any sort of dangerous plays with the ball. As we just see there from Incognito, they're just looking to put the ball upfield. And it's really not the best way to put it. Sebadam again doing the same sort of thing, but this time managing to pop it just over. Jordan with the follow-up, and nobody there to follow the second one up. Incognito not quite fast enough, and we're being left onto a counter-attack there from Adgoes. Saturo just looked to pop this high and over, knowing full well, 6 seconds left. There's no point in risking a goal being conceded here, and we're going to see game 2 go in the way of Engine Stuttgart. And, I mean, do we really think UWEC Stags have a chance of and pulling off this reverse sweep?
Yeah, that's a good question, Kirsing. I mean, you asked before this game if this is about to become the first 5-game series of this evening, and it does not look like it is about to be this series going to Game 5. But it's still quite close to one another, I'd say. But C-Stacks just they're not able to make their plays happen right now. They had kind of good creative ideas, good passing play, and Sabata was really trying to set up his teammates here and there. But overall, Engines Stuttgart were just overwhelming with their positional play, I guess. There was always someone in midfield when there were centered passes, and the pace was there. It was really, really hard to answer, I'd say, for the C-Stacks defensive players. And so far, well, Engines Stuttgart have just dominated the series, I'd say, but there is still room for the C-Stack to go with. And well, if you ask me, I will call out a sweep right here because it does appear like that to me. But everything can happen in Rocket League, and most of the times I'm like the underdog enthusiast anyway. So I'm always up for a Game 5 and reverse sweep. But if this is about to happen, we'll see in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, I definitely think that the potential's still there for UWEC Stags to pull off a few games, but if they're going to do so, they've really got to capitalise on their chances more. They've got to start taking more shots and they've got to start causing more pressure. Because at the moment, every hit they're making, every shot they're taking, it really feels like they're trying to do it solo, and that's just not going to be good enough against this team. And starting off early, Stuttgart coming in with a great passing play, not quite able to put it under the net, and Sebadam needing to come and clear this out again. Ad goes popping it high. Jordan just looking to get the clear, and a demo on the way out by Incognito, and we're going to see a problem here. Jordan able just to drop it over. All that remains of the fantastic save, but Sebadam with the follow-up, and we saw the problem coming out straight away. That demo onto Incognito, really taking one of their potential defenders later on in the play out of the play completely. Sebadam and Jordan saying, you know, we don't need Incognito for this, we'll do it together. And they do, and they just pick apart that Stuttgart defense. And straight away we see UWEC Stags going 1-0 up.
Yeah, definitely beautiful execution and beautiful answer on that early offensive pressure that Stuttgart managed to get on field here again. But this time, not successful, turning the other way around in a 1-goal lead here for the C-Stacks.
Oh, we see Ad goes with an unfortunate side flip there. Sebadam,
oh my God,
not able to put that on target, and that is a huge misplay from what is such an amazing player. You'd expect a player like him to have just popped it to the side. The comms clearly weren't there, and we're going to see an attempted double touch, and Ad goes with a fantastic block, making up for his earlier misplay. And it really was a risky play we saw coming in there. And we're seeing Jordan just going to the side with that shot there. Ad goes clearing it off of the backboard. And at this point in time, you really think Engines are going to try and look to clear this out and just kind of get a reset on their defense, because the rotation just isn't there at the moment.
Yeah. And it's hard to maintain good rotation, I guess, especially defensive-wise, when there's so much pressure coming in from the C-Stacks, and Incognito is going with it again. This time in a solo attempt, no one there of his team to follow it up. Easy clear for Saturo. But the C-Stacks are appearing like a different team this game now. Jordan trying to send it pass on Incognito.
And Incognito just tripping up Sebadam there a little bit. Probably should have rotated out of the play. Sebadam looking to pass it center, not quite able to do so. His flick actually sends it to the middle for Stuttgart to try and get that clear. That's a fantastic passing play. Incognito not quite putting it into the corner enough, putting it straight into the center. Quite an easy save for the Stuttgart team to make. And Stuttgart really do need to try and clear this ball, because they look like they are struggling on defense right now. And just as I say that, ball going right over the top. Jordan not there, not predicting it. And we could have seen 2-0, but not quite. We're seeing it still stuck at 1-0.
Yeah, this looks like the will to live just right before dying that we've seen from Brighton Babes against Berlin Phoenix in Game 3 when they were about to be swept, and now it's the C-Stacks kicking back, not giving up on this series yet. And they're doing great so far.
Yeah, they're definitely really trying to hold it. They have said, you know, you've punished us enough in these first 2 games, no more. And Incognito, Sebadam trying to make a little bit of a passing play there, but all 3 of their players are really saying, you know, we're better than this, we're going to show you that we're better. And they are, and we might see a block here coming in from Jordan. That's a big double commit, leaving Sebadam on his own. Sebadam, smart play there, just dropping it inwards as opposed to taking it out onto the sidewall, making sure he doesn't hit all that remains. and looking to try and keep the play alive here.
And for now, we're seeing just 4 clears or clear attempts from both sides. Sabado trying to even make a shot out of it. Now a long clear, all that remains, following it up, but easily taken away by Jordan. Puts it above 2.
And that's a massive demo. Aggo's just coming in though, just able to save him. And that was a potentially hugely devastating demo. Not quite taking the opportunity to make a play come out of that. Saturo looking to pop it just over to the left-hand side, not able to do so. Jordan cutting out the play, and all that remains, happy to take it up the wall. Jordan with a slight pinch, and Sebadam following that up early. Unfortunately, not quite making much of a play for anyone, but Incognito will take it up the side here, looking to drop it into the middle for Jordan. Jordan not quite able to beat out all that remains, and we're seeing it drop straight back into UWEC Stag's side, and we're seeing back forward, and neither team really looking like they're going to score anytime soon. The attacking pressure is there, but the attacking opportunities just aren't.
Yeah, and we have just 45 seconds left to play here, and Engine Stuttgart have to find an answer quite soon, or this will at least go to game 4. Sabada missing a ball midfield, Saturo picking it up, trying to get it on all that remains now. Edgos has to make the clear, and does make it happen.
And Sebadam happy to follow that up, knowing he's the last man back. He's willing to follow it, almost getting the double touch. Jordan looking to pop it straight back into centre. All that remains up early, and here's where we're going to see some of the damage potentially come in. Aggo's looking to put it high. Unfortunately, puts it straight into Incognito. All that remains, looking to try and cause some pressure, and Sebadam with what must be one of the most important demos of this game. Really taking out a pivotal player for that team. And we're seeing it go off into the side. Jordan looking to just take this over his own backfield there, looking to drop it down and beat Saturo, and Sebadam happy to fake out the play there. UWEC Stags taking game 3, and we see a 2-1 series.
Yeah, and this is really exactly comparable to the series between Berlin Phoenix and Brighton Babes, game 3 specifically, I'd say. And well, at least 20 seconds before this game ended, Engine Stuttgart just had 1 shot on goal. I think the last one came from Saturo just right before the end. And that's quite impressive, just to have 1 shot on goal against a team that was about to sweep you into the lower bracket. And the C-Stacks simply ambitiously took the pace in this game and really speeded up. And with 7 shots on goal, they definitely outpaced Angel Stuttgart here completely. And they were looking at like simply more self-confident, more confident in their challenges, their passing play. And well, it was like Engine Stuttgart did have the early offensive pressure as they have had in game 1 and in game 2, and afterwards, just the C-Stacks were simply able to turn it back down into the enemy field.
Yeah, and I think one of the most important things that we saw in that game as opposed to the first was UWEC Stags really just having a stranglehold on Engine Stuttgart, not allowing them the shots that they had in the first and second game. But actually, it really is just showing that pressure that Sebadam is getting on them, stopping them taking those challenges. We saw it when Brighton Babes tried to do it against Berlin. It didn't matter how few shots Berlin had, they still looked the dominant team. But here, the fewer the shots coming out from Engine Stuttgart, the less of a dominant team they seem, and it feels that way. And it will be interesting to see if this game, if UWEC Stags just try and strangle them as much as they did that last game, or whether they allow them to put a little bit more pressure on and just let them make a few more overcommits just to try and get a couple of shots in.
Oh, no, Jordan putting it over his own
teammate, and this is a big misplay from Jordan. Jordan coming in, putting it high. Incognito clearly not hearing the comms, whether there were any or not, from Jordan saying that he's got it. Incognito flying straight in, Jordan popping it up perfectly for all that remains, and it's just an easy shot. It's not even a difficult, well-placed shot. He just needs to hit the target. It doesn't matter where on the target he hits, and he did exactly that. And straight out of the gates, we're seeing 1-0, 40 seconds in. Great demo from Sebadam, no one following up. 40 seconds in, 1-0 up, and we're seeing UWEC Stags on the back for it straight from the off.
Yeah, and hope the C-Stacks don't crumble again here under this early 1-0 lead again for Engine Stuttgart. And you must not make such commitments as Incognito has done, leading to this goal of Engine Stuttgart. if you're the last defender, accept your trigger and your bet at Rocket League. But not at this level of competition.
And that is a big demo coming through from the middle. Unfortunately, Aggo's not quite able to follow it up. Aggo's to Saturo. Saturo not hitting it. Sebadam will look at clearing it, but Aggo's onto the backboard. Jordan needs to get a good clear here because he is going to struggle with the very limited boost that their team has at the moment. We're seeing Sebadam just sitting in that midfield, knowing full well he's got the most boost out of his team, willing to try and clear out, not able to do so. Saturo trying to make some sort of play there. And we're just going to see Jordan happy to clear it high and out. He's got 0 boost. Following up on this play is extremely risky. Misses the corner boost. And we're going to see a difficult return onto the backfield if UWEC Stags need to make it.
Yeah, beautiful clear initially by Edgos there, but his teammates were not quite in a position to answer on that. But really long, actually frightening clear here by All That Remains. Almost making it a shot. All That Remains also... Just to mention, already 4 shots on goal here, not even halfway through this game 4. Now Edgos makes it past Jordan. Can make it a center pass.
And this is what we said at the start of the game. We really said that UWEC Stags need to choke out Engine Stuttgart, and at the moment they're just not able to do so. They need to try and stop them from having as many shots. They need to stop them taking that boost. And they're just not doing it. They're allowing too much time, too much pressure from that Stuttgart team to make the plays they need to make. And we're just not seeing the attacking pressure we saw in the last game coming out here from UWEC Stags.
Now Jordan with the double tap attempt. Misses it incognito right in his bag. Misses it as well. Easy clear now for All That Remains. And the C-Stags team retreating. Trying to maintain control and boost Edgos. Aiming to demo incognito out of the way there. He gets it past All That Remains. Another opportunity here.
And Incognito trying to challenge out both teams, and he does so. And All That Remains with a risky play onto the backboard. Works out well from Adgo's following up now, looking to just put it center. Sebadam rushing him from behind, saying, I have not given you any opportunity to play with that ball.
Very good commitment by Sebada there to not even allow All That Remains, or Edgos was it, right? Sorry, to get the pass at the enemy backboard. Close call there, long shot coming in.
Jordan with a great 50 there. It does just roll down. Sasori not making the best play of it. Sebadam also, again, not making the best play of it. Just dropping it into Engine Stuttgart's corner. And it's an open goal for the most part. Not quite able to put it on target. All That Remains following up, just making sure they don't have an opportunity. But this is risky. Jordan coming in with a shot. Sebadam trying to come in with the demo. Adgo's just pulling back in time into goal, stopping that shot and being anything more than just a shot. And Sebadam here looking for a play off the backboard. Adgo's just managing to clear their lines.
Adgos is just driving around in circles, always getting this save in last second right above his crossbar of his own net. And he certainly really had to do this. It was really critical situations when he was coming in to do those mandatory saves. Now Jordan and Sebadam with a double commit again. Now That Remains trying to clear it away. Again, it's Adgos. And I think Engine Stuttgart just managed to collect about 6 saves in the last minute of this game. The C-Stags are proving their will to live. Now to West one. Jordan gets just a beautiful flick and Satoru misreads it or panics a little bit, and this is the equalizer for C-Stags, just right about in time.
And this is so difficult for Satoru to actually read as a play. Jordan has the opportunity for the infield pass, doesn't opt for it, opts for what is actually quite a weak flick. However, it doesn't matter. Satoru not ready for it, ready for that passing play, hoping his teammates able to get back in time. He's not, and we see the goal coming out in what is such a critical moment here for UWEC Stags. Adgo's trying to keep this play alive, hoping they can pull so back. Jordan just lifting it into the air, and we're hoping All That Remains can get that clear. And we see Engine Stuttgart happy to let this one go into overtime. 1-1.
Is this the first overtime of the evening?
I think it is actually, yeah. This is the first overtime we've had so far.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a great start. Sebadam coming off of the ceiling, trying to get that flick into the goal. Not able to do so. Sebadam cutting rotation here, just cutting in, trying to play it onto the backboard. Not able to do so, not able to get it high enough. Great 50 there, stopping Adgo's from the challenge. All That Remains kind of in no man's land. And we're seeing Incognito with a great shot. Adgo's not able to stop it. Jordan popping it into center. Incognito looking to pass it back into Sebadam, and nothing coming of it. All That Remains with a great challenge there, stopping any kind of build-up play that's able to be made.
And this might have been the challenge, the chance for the C-Stacks to equalize this series. But it's not happening yet, but they're making very good effort. They're actually playing around with the Stuttgart players right now. Just smashing the ball to the Stuttgart backboard and really making them take bad defensive spots, but they have to do it.
And Sebadam just happy to come and bail out Incognito. They're not willing to risk that ball go over their goal. He's seen what's happened so far. Stuttgart have been so punishing. Anytime a mistake is made by UWEC Stags, Sebadam just hoping he can clear this ball, make enough 50s just to stop him from challenging. But Saturo not with a massive... Not with a great rotation, but fortunately managing to come in for what is a massive 50 there. So critical, so pivotal. And again, we're seeing Adgos trying to pass it into center, not able to do so. And we've seen quite a few misses coming out in the last, what is probably 30 seconds of this overtime so far. Both teams clearly feeling a bit of the pressure. Jordan just trying to tip it up. Saturo with the misplay there, and Adgos fortunately in the back of the goal, able to get a block on there and just clear it out of his own lines. All that remains, looking to play it into the corner, looking to hit it again. Does so, and it's open for Saturo.
Oh my
Saturo
God.
with the miss, and it is a huge miss coming out in front of the goal there. That is so important to be converting those challenges and those chances, not able to do so. And if we see UWEC Stags winning this overtime, they're going to be questioning how they could ever have seen themselves losing this. And we're going to see an important play right there, not quite able to put it on target. Incognito opting to try and find Jordan. Jordan allowing Incognito to follow this up. He has done. Sebadam again with the second follow, and Saturo and Adgos happy to just try and clear this out of their back lines.
Yeah, but also both double committing at their own backboard, and this is absolutely clutch what is happening right now. Both teams definitely had the chance.
And we might just see the goal here.
Oh my God,
And
all
we
that
do.
you
Jordan coming in, playing the shot towards the goal. We see a critical save coming out from All That Remains. All That Remains, fantastic. First save, able to come in. Second save, not quite. Hitting it back into Jordan. Jordan into Sebadam. Sebadam into Jordan. And it is such a fantastic end to this series. We said it in game 2. After that one had finished, we said, do we really think we're going to see a 3-2 series here? And we thought, no possibility. UWEC Stags looked all but out and down, and they just weren't. UWEC Stags coming in with a fantastic play, so crucial at such a critical moment in the game. We're seeing a 2-all series now, and it really is anybody's game.
Yeah, and C-Stacks making a good attempt at making me look like a retard, saying this might have been most likely a 3-0 sweep for the Engine Stuttgart, but they're making the exact opposite happen, and they're about to make the reverse sweep possible here in the third series of this evening. And this was absolutely clutch. Great overtime, and well, as we pointed out, the first overtime we've seen for today. We have 10 saves on the sides of Stuttgart, and we've only seen that amount of saves. Yeah, just by the Brighton Babes who played before against Berlin Phoenix, who were just crushing their defense and putting so many critical offensive attempts to the enemy net there. But I did not expect to see this happen in this series, actually.
Yeah, and I think we saw such a change coming in from UWEC Stags. Just from the start of that game 4, we saw UWEC Stags allowing far too many opportunities for Engine Stuttgarts to come in, make those challenges that they weren't allowing them to make in the third game. And now, that fourth game, they just shut them down completely in the second half of it. They really tried to take all of the aggression out of Engine Stuttgart's game, and they did so. And in the very final minutes, we see a misplay coming through from Engines, which allowed that goal. But I think Engines are going to have to start considering now, how have we let it go to this far? They really did look like they had the opportunity to win this so much earlier on in this game.
Definitely, but also C-Stacks did have the opportunity to end this overtime earlier. And now there's Engine Stuttgart, classically compared to the first 2 games of this series, coming in with the early offensive plays here just after the first kickoff. Not Jordan and Sebadam struggled to clear the ball at their own half. Saturo centering the ball, but there's no one there. Now Sebadam getting a good clear, and Jordan challenge to get Adgos. And both teams are retreating a little bit to recover, fill up the boost.
And I think we're seeing both teams commit a lot less now. Neither one are really willing to risk those mistakes coming out. we see a challenge coming in there, and we're seeing Incognito trying to follow that out, not able to do so. Jordan happy to take this onto the sidewall and really try and make some sort of play out of this. But like I was just saying, the challenges just aren't coming in as solidly as they were in the last game, just because the risk is so high now. One goal can make all the difference between the winner and the loser in this game, and I don't think Engine Stuttgart will be willing to risk making some of those positional and committing mistakes that they were making in that last game.
Yeah, the tension is insane, but for now it's Stuttgart who makes the offensive play going. Set a pass for Saturo, but Sabata makes an insane save. Actually defending that shot off Saturo, and now going for the counter-attack. Makes it past all that remains. Getting the bump on Saturo, a great effort there.
We're seeing Incognito, not with the greatest of turns there, really running quite a massive risk. Saturo happy to take this over, and he's going to be looking for all that remains in the middle, and he does so. All that remains not quite able to put it to the side of Saturo there, and we're seeing UWEC Stags go on the attack. All that remains, again with a critical play at the other end. One end so pivotal, the other end so pivotal, and it's just an incredible amount of play. And this is just exceptional now. We really are seeing some great quality Rocket League coming out here in the final game between UWEC Stags and Engine Stuttgart.
Definitely, it's absolutely beautiful, and both teams give it all they got right now. To close out the series, it's 2-2 for those who tuned in freshly in the best of 5 series. So this series is about to end after this game finished.
And if UWEC Stags are able to take this, we will see what I think is the first reverse sweep we would have seen of the day. And it's just come at such an important time, because whoever wins this, and it looks like it could go in, and Incognito not able to keep it in the goal there. Just too far into the corner post there, and just hitting out, and it looked like it could have been a goal, and just not able to put it in. No one on the follow-up, and we're seeing it still 0-0, 2 minutes left in the game.
It's actually insane. Both teams are really wad up right now, and Jordan is playing out of his mind, getting multiple saves right in while being in the air for a single town. Now good shot, well placed by Saturo. Trying to defending players to it. Sabadam just getting along clear, giving away possession, but giving his team time to stock up the boost and reposition.
And you almost wonder if on that play there, Jordan could have gone for a demo or a bump on the opposition. He had such a perfect opportunity to do so, doesn't do it. And in turn, his team are left trying to get this replay. And he's got the block on 7. I'm still going for it. Maybe he should have left it to his teammate there. And still going. And the man just never seems to stop. And it's a great pitch, and it's gone straight in. And we talk about Sebadam not willing to stop, and he doesn't. The pressure he put on in this play is absolutely phenomenal. Pinching it with the ground. Adgo's not opting to go back in defense. Trying to go for that corner boost first. It's not there. Can't catch up to the ball. And we're seeing 1-0 to Sebadam. 1 minute, 7 seconds left. And we could be seeing one of the first reverse sweeps of the game so far.
This is absolutely beautiful. I can just repeat it. And Adgos has made so heavy impact in the Stuttgart defense right there, and has made so much effort to effectively not get scored against, but now again Saturo making the clutch save against Incognito. Sevada is up, and it's so sad that
trying to pop it center there. Adgo's just getting the block on. We see Saturo trying to come over the top. Incognito making an important clear to the side, and we're going to need to see Jordan or Incognito going for a challenge. Neither do, and they're leaving the goal relatively open. All that remains, can't get a strong shot on there. There's no real challenge coming in, and that was one of the best opportunities that Engine Stuttgart has had this game, and they have just not capitalized on it at all.
I can't believe it. Are they making the choke happen? Is it really happening? 30 seconds are left on the goal. This will be one of the last offensive attempts that Engine Stuttgart get to make this happen, to get the equalizer. Now Incognito will be just far and wide clear, dragging down the time. And the ball
Jordan
hit the ground.
Putting it down, we see the reverse sweep coming out. And I can tell you right now, Engine Stuttgart are not going to be happy with their performances in the last 3 games. I think they really did try, but some of the chances they had, some of the opportunities they were making, they just didn't have a follow-up man there. And it is so important playing against teams of this caliber that you have somebody there following up, that you have somebody there trying to make those chances, and they just they were firing off one shot here, one shot there, and once it was being cleared, it was a complete reset. UWEC Stags, on the other hand, we spoke about it during the game. Sebadam, so much pressure, never letting up, and even to that point, he went from one side of the pitch all the way to the other, didn't let his teammates in, and it was a good job he didn't. That pinch with the ground, taking it past Agos, making that a 1-goal game, and we said it at the start, that 1 goal could be so important, and it was. Unbelievable reverse sweep there from UWEC Stags.
Yeah, definitely. And even though Adgos has looked like the player who's done the most defensive effort, to me in Engine Stuttgart, Zatru and all that remains, both having a savior medal right here on the scoreboard. 8 saves overall again compared to the last game where we had 10 saves on the side of Engine Stuttgart. Absolutely clutch game, beautiful series, and well played by the C-Stacks, who just... After game 3, they were just looking like they were kidding in game 1 and 2, and now came for the real talk and gave it all they got, and it was just beautiful to look at.
Yeah, and as I said at the very start of the game, I said it could be one of the first series that we see going to a 3-2, and even I myself was a little bit hesitant of that at the start. I saw the first game, I saw the second game, and I really did think, maybe UWEC Stags aren't going to be able to pull this on. They're not going to be able to pull it back. And then in that third game, they just halted all of the pressure that Engine Stuttgart were putting on them. They stopped it in its tracks, and straight from there, they were able to pull back some fantastic reverse sweep. And UWEC Stags with a victory, and I don't think anybody expected it 2 games in.
Yeah, definitely. But speaking of 5-game series, we have another one just ongoing who's about to determine who is playing the next upcoming series against Lankers A. And at this moment, there's CF Utopia playing against Dorrance Nijmegen. And as I mentioned, it is going to game 5, so we have no results yet. But the winner of this series is playing against the Lankers A team, who just swept Ulu Arctic Gaming in the upper bracket round 1 to the lower bracket. And I think for that said, we are about to tune in to another short break of 5 minutes. So stay hydrated, stay fresh, and we see you all soon.
Also ganz ehrlich, 15% Herz sind ja ganz nice, aber du musst definitiv auf das Live-Set gehen, weil es in Kombi mit Schildbonus immer viel mehr bringt. Vor allem, wenn du voll auf Konstitution skillst. Dann ist alles vorbei. Besonders, wenn dein Mainstat in Prozent ist und nicht flat, aber das ist ja eh klar.
Ja klar.
left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the last time of this evening to the EURC group stage day 1. Here I am still Trigger. Here with me is Killsync commentating this for you, and we are about to acknowledge the last series of this evening, which is to be played between the Lankers A team and a team that has not been determined yet between the ongoing series. Or of the winner of the ongoing series, CF Utopia versus Torrance Nijmegen.
Yeah, and I think we could really be seeing some fantastic Rocket League. I mean, we just saw a 3-2 reverse sweep coming out from UWEC Stags against Engine Stuttgart. And I think with Lankers A being such a strong, powerful team coming in, we could really see some Rocket League that could rival what we've already been seeing here. I mean, this Lankers team, extremely, extremely strong roster. We've got Deleterious Mac, Films 3, and as some people may or may not know, we've got Tylacto Pro Player coming in with us. And they just pull off some fantastic Rocket League. We've got Films 3, who's recently come across, he used to be a console player, he's recently come across to PC, and since doing so has upped his MMR. He's been around roughly that 1700, 1750. You got Tylacto sitting quite comfortably much higher than that, and Deleterious Mac again sitting quite comfortably 1800 player, and they're just such a fantastic team. The defense from them is something that will rival any of the teams we've so far seen on stream, especially the backboard defensive players like Tylacto, who are just so comfortable, so confident, and they make it look so slow because it's just so fluid. Their movement, everything they do is just incredible defense play, and it would just be interesting to see how people rival teams like this.
Definitely, and I think speaking of that kind of smooth gameplay, but still highly efficient, maybe we've seen likewise on the offensive side of the Berlin Phoenix team, and which they have shown for today, and how they really crushed their opponent's defense completely. But for now, yeah, Lankers A, to be honest, I've not seen them play for quite some time, I'd say, but I'm very curious about how they are performing right now, and especially for today. And I think we have still not yet. We don't have a winner yet. This must have been a long overtime in Game 5 here between CF Utopia from Salerno and Torrance Nijmegen, and it's still not yet known who is going to be victorious in that series. But yeah, you mentioned this earlier. I mean, Kissing, how's Lankers A performing in the NSE for the time being? Oh, all right. I just recognized that we have dropped a caster, but hopefully we have another caster joining in.
Apologies. I'm back in for that. It's just to let the stream know that we're actually going to be seeing UWEC Stags again play Nottingham Trent, just due to that little delay that we've had there. I've just been informed by Scenarius that we are going to be seeing C Stags versus Nottingham Trent. So do hold by. We've already seen one of these teams play today, and Nottingham Trent is arguably a better team than Lankers A, who we were going to initially be seeing. So, Trigger, do you know anything about these teams, or would you like me to kind of reel off some information about these?
Well, I definitely know fewer than you do about the Nottingham Trent team, but for that being said, you should go first, and I will add what I can.
So with the Nottingham Trent team, we see Instinct, Mystic, and I think it is Johnny coming out. Now, this team was absolutely fantastic. They're class. They're one of the best teams we have in the UK NSE team. And playing against Sea Stags, another UK team, will be a rivalry which we didn't really see with any of the other teams so far. We've seen no real energy being played against the teams themselves. We've seen energy within the teams, but not against the teams. There hasn't been that rivalry that we're going to see with Sea Stags and Trent. Now, with Trent, they're a far more aggressive team than any others we've seen so far. We've got Instinct, who is notorious for his demo plays. Absolutely incredible amounts of pressure placed on teams by Instinct. Johnny coming in with what is a low-level laptop and still pulling off some of the plays of tournaments that we've seen so far. He's just incredible at reading his teammates' passes, backboard reads, and we really are going to see some fantastic Rocket League coming off very, very shortly. And hopefully we won't delay you too much and can hopefully get right into the games if Trigger, my co-caster, is more than happy for us to do that.
All right, we already have 9 people in the lobby. So the last thing worth mentioning for me is definitely, I think, about Nottingham Trent, that they were also representing EU in the Intercontinental Showdown versus NA, and they were the only European team to be victorious in those show matches against Missouri. So yeah, give a cheers up here for Nottingham Trent, and also, of course, for the UWE Sea Stags, who have just proved to have good nerves doing the reverse sweep against Andrew Stuttgart. And for that being said, it was already too long. I think we just give a go and step into the last fourth series of this evening between Nottingham Trent and the UWE Sea Stags. If the Nottingham Trent players are actually ready to pick their spots. But they are, and so are we, and we are getting the countdown here to the last, one of the last kickoffs of this evening.
And we're seeing Johnny go a little bit too far across on that kickoff. Quite an early chance, and Incognito straight into the net, and it's such an early chance here for Sea Stags. Sebadam really pressuring Instinct, and we spoke about the amount of aggression Instinct would give before this game, and I wasn't expecting Instinct to be pressured so early on. Sebadam coming in straight away, straight past into the center for Incognito. Incognito going over both Misty and Johnny. Neither of them really able to pull off a challenge, and we're seeing a second goal straight from kickoff.
Holy
and it's
poggers.
2-0. 15 seconds. Misty with not the greatest kickoff. Instinct, again a misplay from him. Jordan just flicking opposite way to try and get that ball right into the center of the goal. Does so with ease. All three Nottingham Trent players there completely out of the play, and we're seeing a 2-0 lead 15 seconds in.
Yeah, I guess the Sea Stags definitely have picked up some of the Andrew Stuttgart fashion right there, scoring 2 times so early in the game. But there goes the counter attack. Also just 10 seconds later, Instinctable getting the ball again above 1, centering it for his teammate, and it's Johnny actually scoring it and making this a 1-goal game.
And so we see Sebadam here not quite able to get the defensive play on there. Sebadam obviously being a sub here for Monaco, RLCS level player, and not quite able to get the speed there to commit. We're seeing Instinct making a couple of early misses, and again, we say high-level player. He himself, 18, 15, 1900 player, and still not able to get the place. And it is a lot of misplays we're seeing from some really high-level teams that you just don't expect to see this early on, and we can only assume it's just first-game nerves. We really do expect more from these teams. We expect better play. They've both just come out of having won 3-2 games, so both of them not quite having the victories they would expect, and unfortunately not coming out the strongest so far.
I mean, the Sea Stags are definitely warmed up, and I think their nerves are already proven strong enough, since what do you have to fear if you can actually reverse sweep your enemies in the series before? And Sebadam is doing so much defensive work with the Sea Stags right now. So confident on his challenges. And hopefully he keeps up this attitude, and so does his team. Now to this one situation, but Misty clears it early. leaving a midfield for Sebadem.
Yeah,
There's actually no one to follow up.
Misty really not prepared there to let that ball go any further than his own half. Johnny trying to get the read on that, not able to do so. Instinct forced to go back with a 0 boost, and he really is a player that relies quite heavily on his boost, knowing full well that the demos he needs to get, the bumps he needs to get, really needs to be quite important and spectacular, especially if he's going to be beating this UWEC Stags team. And there we see a demo coming out from Instinct, causing the pass onto the side. Jordan trying to get a clear. Sebadam again trying to get another clear, but fantastic 50 from Misty. Instinct coming in with the shot, not able to get it. And we do see Incognito just getting quite an easy clear on that ball.
Yeah, and even though the C-Stags still have the 1-goal lead, 2-1, they have 4 times
and
the
that's
amount
a
of save.
great
And
save
they just
from
add to it
Incognito.
another awesome save, making it 5 in total right now compared to 1 on the side of Nottingham Trent. The C-Stags are doing phenomenal work in defense right now, and Instinct about getting a beautiful bump, knowing that this ball is just about to roll in as long as he gets the bump or demolition on the last defending player there.
And that
And
is
he
a
does get
great
it.
flip reset. Can we just take the time to appreciate that from Misty? The bump from Instinct, obviously so crucial. Ball not going in otherwise, such an easy save. But the flip reset coming out from Misty, just taking it just over that defender, and then Instinct making sure Sebadam has absolutely no opportunity to clear that. And we spoke about it at the start. It's what he's known for in his gameplay. And as we're talking, Incognito coming through, taking it past, I think all of the Nottingham defenders there, clearing them all out. Third man not back, assuming his teammate's going to get it. Misty slow to the rotation, and Incognito popping it into an open goal to make it 3-2, 3 minutes into game number 1.
Yeah, Instinct and Johnny definitely not paying enough respect to Incognito right there. Making his way past 2, now Sebadem gets a past 1. Misty actually successful in the block, and now Johnny gets a past 1. 1 versus 1 situation. Jordan is Sebadem, almost double commit there.
And Misty's up early, trying to put it in, not able to.
Bell.
Instinct, that follow-up so fast from him. Jordan putting it up high. Misty opting, trying to go for the top right-hand corner, not quite making it. Instinct coming in, facing off against Sebadam. Sebadam on the reverse, trying to get the block on there, not able to do so. Instinct popping it into the top right corner, and we see a 3-3 game in our first game. And it's just such a goal fest so far from what is some questionable defensive plays off both teams, but still credit where credit is due. All of the goals have been well placed, precision.
Well, now Jordan with a very wide and far clear. Misty has to actually make a touch before it hits the backboard. It's not roll into too dangerous situation. Now Incognito with the dribble. Just right next to Misty, makes a good challenge there. Now, we've seen some demolition attempts here by Nottingham Trent as well, but they haven't yet made them successful in their offensive plays. Now a complete miss in an open net for Incognito, but does he have the boost? He does not. Misty's there right in front of him. Makes sure he's not about to get that needed touch to make it a 4-3 lead here.
Yeah, and this is where some of the players, especially at these higher ranks, they really need to know how to perform some really good wave dashes. Because as we just saw, there's such an open opportunity for Incognito. Incognito not having the boost and not really knowing how to speed himself up enough to make a challenge on that play. Doesn't do so. Misty, just with the small amount of boost he has, able to come back and stop that ball from being 4-3. We're seeing it drop straight in front of goal there by Instinct. Not the best of clears we've seen, but managing to just hold off. And now we're going to see pressure go in the way of Nottingham Trent. Pass centre, Johnny going for the touch, not able to do so. Misty will look at following this up, getting the block onto Jordan, does so, and Incognito not able to do the second challenge. And we're seeing Incognito trying to take it further to make it 4-3. But we're likely to see an overtime in our first game of the day so far against UWEC Stags and Nottingham Trent.
Yeah, and the clock has a tick down, and we are going to overtime directly in game 1 of this series, and this looks promising.
Yeah, it really
Let's
does.
see.
And we're seeing coming off early, Incognito challenging Instinct there, not allowing him any time on that ball. Johnny trying to look for the flick. He's gone over Jordan. Sebadam trying to get the clear on it, not able to, expecting Jordan to be able to get the save there. Bit slow on the rotation, going far out for it, and just not able to get the clear. And unfortunately, we're seeing 4-3 going the way of Nottingham Trent early in the first game overtime with what is a misplay on defense from this UWEC Stags.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure about how used those rosters, those teams, really especially those rosters are used to each other. It looked to me like they were getting more and more used to each other throughout this game, and it looked closer and closer to one another also throughout this game. But C-Stacks have made such a impressive start, getting the 2-0 lead against Nottingham Trent here very early in the game, conceding one goal to the 2-1 lead, also very close following their 2-goal lead, but after all and overall, this has been a very clutch and close series, and Nottingham Trent have struggled to make their plays happen, actually, and I think most of the Nottingham Trent goals were happened out of a solo effort, and C-Stacks are definitely a little more warmed up, a little more into their own play. It's definitely reasonable for them to be in that shape after they faced Angel Stuttgart and played out of their minds, actually making the reverse sweep happen, and they definitely still got the spirit that they had in that matchup.
Yeah, definitely. I think us as casters and everybody watching is probably hoping that this game provides a few less mistakes than we saw at the start of the last game. Really quite a poor performance from both teams defensively at the very start. Picking it up a little bit more towards the end, but still we really do expect to see a little bit better, and hopefully this game too provides some more entertaining Rocket League and maybe a few less goals. Actually, I might like to see a bit more defensive prowess from both teams.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are definitely capable of doing so. But for now, Nottingham Trent are getting really far clear, but Sabadam with a beautiful challenge. Gets a past one. Misty's already waiting for it. Missing the challenge.
We're seeing the pressure coming out early here from Nottingham Trent. And a big clear from Incognito. But this was one of the problems they had at the start against Engine Stuttgart. The clears they were making really didn't pressure the opposition too much. There weren't many passing plays coming out. It really did seem to be all solo play, and the shots they were making and the passes they were making weren't really going to anybody but the opposition. And I'm hoping to see a little bit of a change here. We're going to see Misty coming off of the side up onto the back wall just to try and clear that. Johnny with a long clear down to the left hand corner. Misty trying to fight Seven. I'm not able to do so. Instinct coming in for the second challenge, and a good 50 coming the way of Misty. Not quite able to clear his lines, but Misty opting to go back. He sees Jordan up early, hoping Johnny can get the clear, which he doesn't. Instinct coming in with a demo again. No surprise. I think it would be more surprising to see Instinct go again without a demo.
Yeah, and it looks to me like Misty in this particular setup is really making good effort and good attempts to actually set up his teammates and get the plays going for them. He's always the one in the front doing the critical challenges right there. Now centering the field. Johnny misses it with a follow-up. Instinct staying back in his field.
Playing it right down far, and again, as we were talking about, not playing it to anybody. And it does just give the opportunity going the way of Nottingham Trent. And Nottingham Trent with a drop down, nobody in the corner. Johnny coming just over the top. And we're seeing a great play there. Jordan putting it straight up. And Johnny is actually still on from the initial hit that he made. And that is incredible aerial car control there from Johnny. Continuing the play, continuing to go forward, not opting to come down, seeing his teammates aren't challenging it, willing to stay up, and he gets rewarded for it. And that's the kind of pressure we have not seen from any of the teams so far. And as we're talking, Misty piling on some more pressure there, getting the second goal less than 10 seconds after the first goal's gone in. Incognito, touch off to the side to stop. I think it was Instinct going for it again. Does so, but pops it straight into Misty, who's able to beat out Incognito, popping it straight into the open net. We see 2-0 a minute and 52 seconds into the game.
Yeah, definitely slightly missing the clear there by Incognito, and Misty just answering with a simple but strong boomer to the enemy goal, making it the 2-goal lead here for Nottingham Trent.
Yeah, and even there, we just see Jordan trying to pop it onto the side, not able to really find any of his teammates, no one following up, no one really willing to take those risks. We're seeing Seven pop it to the side. Jordan does follow that one up though, and Instinct following again, pops it just over, and Johnny managing to hold off the ball there, and we see another shot. Johnny just popping it left, not able to make the touch, leaving it to go wide, and Misty up early, trying to stop Incognito, dropping it down, does so, and Johnny looking to follow this up, pop it into centre for Instinct, who pops it back over to Misty, and we might see the ball drop if the bump comes onto Incognito, which it doesn't, and we're seeing UWE Stags take it just out of their play just to kind of ease the pressure on them a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like it's very hard for the C-Stacks to actually make the decision to commit with all 3 players offensive-wise. We've seen Incognito and Sabada almost making the play as a duo right there to get them, to make this actually a game for them, but now with the shot again, Sabada in the last instance has to clears before his teammates. Very fortunate for Sabada, they saw him coming. This little turn into a double or triple commit. Now Sabadem from the ceiling going for the shot. Nice plays actually, forcing 2 players to go for the ball. Johnny and Misty now actually a little bit out of position. Sabadem again, he's everywhere. He's centering the ball from left and right.
He really is, and we spoke about how much pressure he needed to put on in the last game, and he did so. But this game, although he is centering it left and right, his teammates just aren't there, aren't ready for it. And it really does feel like Nottingham Trent are kind of holding the lead here, and it looks like they're going to do so comfortably. Johnny going for a shot. He's able to just put that in any part of the goal, really. He can see where the opposition are. He knows where they're going to be challenging. Opts to pop it left. Dabadam and Incognito just tripping each other up there. Neither one able to get into the right place on time. And unfortunately, we're seeing 3 goals go in the way of Nottingham Trent, and it really is looking like a Nottingham Trent dominant performance so far. But we say that, and that's exactly how it looked for Engine Stuttgart against this UWE Stags game in the first 2 games of our last series that we watched.
Well, you have mentioned before this game that you expect less mistakes to happen, and I think you will definitely 100% right about that one, because Nottingham Trent is just playing a little more relaxed and a little more thoughtful, I'd say. But what a beautiful redirect from Misty, putting this ball to the enemy backboard, setting up his teammate Johnny and making it a 4-0 lead. And this is kind of devastating for the C-Stacks. I mean, they have nothing to lose yet completely, but I get the feel like Nottingham Trent are getting warmed up as well.
And Misty with the fantastic backboard play there. Now, arguably, UWE Stags definitely should have done better on the defense here, but Misty able to get 1, 2, 3 touches before Instinct comes in and just steals the goal from him. You almost feel bad for Misty not quite getting the credit for the goal there, but an absolutely fantastic passing play. And Misty just knowing he's got so much time to make that play happen, and he does. And we're seeing in the second game 5-0 to Nottingham Trent, and UWE Stags never really looked like they were getting into this game. They always looked a little bit slower, a little bit more hesitant, and a little more panicked than this Nottingham Trent team, and it really has showed in plays like that.
Yeah, Misty now slightly trolling around, getting to in air drag right out of his own half. Just playing down some time, because it won't matter at all. C-Stacks can't equalize this game anymore. It's definitely a lost game. And in a kind of dominant fashion, Nottingham Trent come back here and score, win this game with a 5-0 lead.
Yeah, and it's just been incredible here from Nottingham Trent. Johnny with a fantastic read off of Misty's incredible read, and it was just fantastic overall. Misty clearly that standout playmaker in that team so far. 3 assists coming through. All 3, I think, going to Johnny. I'm not entirely sure. Actually, I think one might have gone to Instinct, with one of Instinct's going to Johnny's. But even so, Johnny so quick to read his teammates' bounces, so quick to read those backboard plays. And even when we saw Misty going for an incredible redirect onto that backboard, Johnny just had so much faith to be centered, to be prepared, be ready for the challenge. And he was, and is able to just put a fantastically placed, perfect double touch into redirect from the backboard into the goal there, and it's just really showing the prowess of Nottingham Trent here, both attacking, defense, and midfield prowess.
Yeah, definitely. I was calling it mid-game that Misty was doing the mandatory offensive commitments and challenges, and he was really successful on those. And following that, he was just able to set up his teammates quite perfectly, do beautiful passing plays, or even leaving an open net for his teammates. And Nottingham Trent have scored 5 out of 7 shots, which is quite impressive. And if I'm not mistaken, we have seen 8 shots from the C-Stacks in last game, not a single goal, and they really struggle to make this Nottingham Trent defense break right now.
Yeah, and as we go into the third game, I really don't think we're going to be seeing UWEC Stags taking a game off. I said in the last game, I said that UWEC Stags would take it to game 5, and they did. This time, I just can't see it happening. Nottingham Trent so damaging on their offense and so precise on their defense that they're really not looking troubled at this point in time.
Yeah, but for now, we're not seeing a very early lead again. The center pass Misty. Johnny doesn't quite get the touch he was looking for, but still the offensive is going. Misty puts another one on net, Incognito with a clear. Not Jordan, a 2-on-1 situation, but they don't make anything out of it. Just giving the possession away. Sabota is picking it up to Jordan. Simply leaving it now. Misty gets beaten by Incognito. Finally.
Yeah, we're seeing Sebadam challenge early in the center. They're not, as we've said before, not really willing to let it go too far back. He's seen what's been happening when they're not challenging in the center. Passing plays are able to be made, and out of the 5 goals scored last game, 4 were assisted. And it just really goes to show how much this Nottingham Trent team rely on each other as a team as opposed to individual players. And we're seeing a
beautiful
big
demolition there.
A huge demo coming the way of UWEC Stags there. Incognito seeing Misty waiting for that. It doesn't look like Misty would have really got around to it anyway. He would always have struggled with that. But Incognito making sure there was no opportunity for the save coming through. Demoing on that back line. And we're seeing, for I think what might be the first time this series, UWEC Stags taking the lead.
I mean, this decision-making definitely could have backfired for the C-Stacks, but I think they have to commit on chances like these to stand a chance against the Nottingham Trent roster right now. But for now, they have a 1-goal lead here, and they definitely have to make their best out of it. Trying to keep or advance from this.
And Misty trying to go for the demolition there, adopting Instinct's role of the demoer, and it's not quite come through with it. Instinct popping it up to Misty. Misty not able to beat out Sebadam there. Sebadam coming through with a great 50. Jordan looking to clear it long, looking to get the second touch, but Incognito just taking that opportunity away from him. Looking to take it centre, but Johnny with a fantastic challenge and a 50 coming the way of Instinct and Sebadam. And Instinct could have the opportunity to score, not quite able to beat out Sebadam there. And we're going to see Johnny trying for a 50 to try and take pressure back onto the UWEC Stags side.
And we're halfway through this third game. As Misty, without any boost, is dragging the ball backwards to his own half. Refreshing on boost. Try to get a fresh clear as well here from his own backboard. And there's a double commit by his teammate. A free shot on goal for Sabota, but he does not have the boost, not have the position to put this on target.
Yeah, and this is where we
enough.
see... This is where we see one of the problems at the moment with UWEC Stags, not committing enough with 2 of their players. Always just the one on offense, and it's leaving them really short on opportunities like that. There's so much potential to score a goal from those, and they're just not taking it. Sebadam seemingly always trying to make these solo plays happen, and we're seeing Incognito putting it off the back, not able to do much with it. Johnny looking to clear it long. The demo comes through, however, on Misty, so there's no player to pass it up to in the end. And Sebadam just happy to put it back into the UWEC Stags, and that's a risky flick backwards, leaving the defense really short. Their Instinct coming through with a fantastic backflip save, but still, we shouldn't expect to see plays like that happening on the defense from Nottingham Trent here.
Definitely not, and the C-Stacks are actually getting an assault here on the Nottingham Trent defense. One player now. Demolition from the C-Stacks, and I think Nottingham Trent is trying to capitalize from that, but there's a long clear coming out.
Yeah, and they're definitely making it more difficult for the UWEC Stags in this last minute of the game. We really need to see some more pressure coming out. We need to see the plays from Johnny, from Instinct, from Miski that we're used to seeing. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to see it. It's going straight towards the goal. Fortunately, not a strong shot on target there. Johnny able just to come along and clear a pretty easy clear. Sebadam going for the read, just putting it to the left. Jordan 50 and with Misty putting it back into the center, but not passing to the correct players. And unfortunately, we're left with UWE Sea Stags just 1 goal ahead, 25 seconds left. And we might see the first game UWE have taken so far to make it 2-1. If Nottingham Trent aren't able to put the pressure back on, but a lack of boost on the Nottingham Trent side and a bad pass into the centre is going to make it difficult for Misty. 10 seconds left and they really don't have the boost to make much of a play here. They're going to need to use all of the resources available. And Instinct coming in with a great shot. Sebadam with the important clear on the final second to take this to game number 4.
And if this is about to be another comeback by the Sea Stags, I will be more than impressed. One of us actually has to do the This is Rocket League then, because this is just outstanding. The Sea Stags actually finding the answer this time. Both teams equal in saves here, both 5 saves on scoreboard. And the Sea Stags this time, they have led in shots on goal the last game as well, but this time actually managing to get through and managing to do so very early in the game. Last game we've seen 8 shots on goal, not a single one going through. But this one they've played this really well. They got the early lead and they did not do too many defensive mistakes or give Nottingham Trent too much space to get the plays going, get their pace up, and they simply held possession of this game.
Yeah, and I think we saw Sebadam going in for some really important plays. It looks like, I don't know if it's the same on my end.
Yeah.
Server going down for maintenance, so we are going to have a very, very minute halt here to play. But I think while we're doing that, we need to talk about Sebadam's importance in that game and how pivotal he was to just stopping and putting a halt to that Nottingham Trent offense. We saw no shots coming out from Instinct.
What would a Rocket League series be without a single server crash? It wouldn't be real, right?
Oh, definitely not. Server crashes almost seem important these days. So I think we need at least one more before we end, if we can. Psyonix, please.
Psyonix, please. So we are setting up a new lobby because the old one crashed, was too old, unfortunately. And setting up a new lobby to get this series going, as Nottingham Trent is leading 2-1 against the UWE Sea Stags, who've just made the reverse sweep reel against the Engines Stuttgart from Germany. And if they make another reverse sweep happen, I'm going to freak out, I promise you. Because this would be outstanding performance by the Sea Stags if they can make this happen.
Yeah, coming back from the pressure that they had in the first games against Engine Stuttgart to pull off a reversed sweep, it's just incredible. If they can do it again in the second game, that would just be something spectacular.
Definitely, and let's see if they can keep up the possession again this game, eventually get an early lead out of this. We are seeing 2 demolitions right now.
And we're seeing an early play coming from UWE Sea Stags. And they started as strong as they started the first game. Misty, not with the kind of touch he was hoping for. Jordan reading Johnny perfectly. Pass straight into the center. And the pass, albeit lucky or incognito, perfectly placed for it, perfectly positioned. Puts it just to the right of Johnny. Johnny not able to make any sort of play there. And we see 1-0 to UWE Sea Stags 12 seconds into the game.
And again, they managed to get an early lead. And this is so important. This is so important to play from, to keep possession, and now not to greed defensive-wise. And giving Nottingham Trent enough space to answer this early goal. Now Missy beaten by Incognito. Free clear. Instinct in his own half without any boost, but gets it past 1, gets it blocked against 2 actually. Incognito is there.
And that's a bad touch right there. Incognito looking for the bump on Johnny as opposed to going for any kind of shot. And Misty faking out Sebadam, leaving 1 player on. Jordan with a fantastic defense there, making it so important right there, because otherwise they are struggling Johnny popping it onto his roof for Sebadam to take the shot. Sebadam not able to put it on target. And we've seen both teams have fantastic opportunities and not really taking them. Misty with an open goal, not managing to score. Johnny with a shot, Jordan with a backflip save, Misty putting it to the left. And it's such fast Rocket League. It's just so hard to keep up with what's happening here. And it's just incredible play, so back and forth between both teams and both players. And just incredible defense, and it just goes to show how much UWEC Stags want this. And
my
Johnny
God.
just tripping up Misty there, making it awkward for him. Instinct not able to get the demo onto Sebadam, and this might just slow down from here, he says, as Instinct puts it high, tries to put it center. Misty with the follow-up into the top. Johnny, Instinct with the further follow-up, and no one able to score.
And what is happening right here? The C-Stacks backboard, especially the crossbar, is actually making so much work here. Oh, now the 2 vs 1 situation. Johnny against Sebadam can't get his way through. And I actually thought that Jordan earlier has kind of ruined the defensive play by coming from the backboard, but he actually got another save, and this is so insane. And the C-Stacks managed to keep their 1-goal lead going here in this game. 4, excuse me.
And it is incredible play. And I just need to take note of what Sebadam just did earlier. That 50 against Johnny 1v1 was so important, because it's so easy in positions like that to 50 the wrong way and provide the opposition with an opportunity just to get quite an easy goal. Misty looking to carry it, flicks it just over into the corner. Johnny on the follow-up able to put it into what is an open net, and that is fantastic aggression. And great aerial control there from Misty, just putting it just over Incognito. Jordan looking to stop it, thinking it's going into the top corner. Doesn't quite get it. Sebadam recognising he doesn't have the boost to catch up, allowing Johnny just to take the shot. And it is 1-1, 2 minutes 12 left in the game.
Yeah, beautiful play by Misty, actually also forcing Jordan, the last defending player for the C-Stacks there, to commit for this ball, because he didn't know if the shot was coming any further from Misty, even though he did not have any boost left. But this is the equalizer, and we are 3 minutes into this game, 2 minutes left. Can the C-Stacks find an opening again? Beautiful pass, attempted by Sebada. But here comes the counter-attack.
We were seeing Instinct really boost-starved there. Not quite boost-starved now, but really taken out of the play there by UWEC Stags, and it could have been such a prime opportunity to score. An Incognito with a fantastic bump, and a second onto Johnny. And Sebadam with the follow-up, great shot right there. And this is incredible vision from Incognito. 1 bump on him, a second on Johnny, and Instinct not able to come in and stop them. And that is just an absolutely incredible play there by Incognito to pull off that. We usually see it from Instinct on the opposite team. Today we're seeing it from UWE Stags with Incognito coming in with the exact same bump plays.
Oh, another shot going to the crossbar, leaving Jordi with a perfect, clear opportunity there without any boost. Makes it past 1. Centers it, but I doubt any teammates are going for this ball. Gathering up, and you have to acknowledge the offensive play by the C-Stacks there, and with the executive demolitions, they are so on point. This is actually at least the 2nd or 3rd goal they've scored in that fashion.
Yeah, and they really are turning up the heat here. And again, we see the bump coming through. And Instinct with the follow-up there, and this is what Nottingham Trent are so dangerous for. Misty following up, treating Incognito exactly how he treated them in that earlier play, bumping him, saying, get out of the way, I need to make room for Instinct. Instinct, slow shot, easy to put it in, baits out the challenge there from Jordan, and doesn't allow any sort of defense to really gather up there.
But this is still a game, and I did not think we would have that much of a game before the series actually started. C-Stacks are actually making me aroused about the EURC in general and about what's to come.
Yeah, and I think this has just gone to show. In the first game, we saw some questionable decisions, and in this game, we're seeing the complete opposite. This is just Rocket League at its finest. We're seeing how powerful bumps and demos can really be in Rocket League. We already knew it, but they are just showing us more reason as to why they're just such a necessary part of the game. And it really has opened up both teams for both goals that have been, for these past 2 goals that have been scored. It's absolutely incredible.
Missy in the last second, going for the ceiling shot, the pass centered for Johnny, and this was so close. What a read by Incognito, absolutely insane. And we're going to overtime in game 4, excuse me, of this series, and the C-Stacks have to make a goal happen here or they drop to the lower bracket.
And this is risky. They have nobody back in defense, only Instinct with a great stop. And again, Jordan with a shot just being bumped up by Misty there, and it's absolutely incredible defense. Only one man back initially, managing to make it feel like there was 3 back, and it's just overall such a great performance on both sides. And as I say that, a big miss coming from Incognito and coming from Jordan, and this is not the way. This is not the way you want to see this end. Jordan with a huge miss, Incognito with a huge miss, and Sebadam saying, well, what am I meant to do with this? And this is just horrible to see. And you really didn't think the game was going to end like that. And for it to end in the way that it has, I'm holding back the laughter because you just have seen...
You don't have to.
you've just seen 2 of the best teams play. Incognito and Jordan playing out of their minds for this entire game. Jordan with I think it was Incognito, sorry, with the first questionable decision on the jump. And Jordan not having any idea what he's meant to do with it, and Sebadam trying to race back. And I think in the entire time Sebadam's racing back there, I think Sebadam knows in his mind, well, this is a goal. This is how we lose. And for such a well-fought game, for it to end like that is just so heartbreaking for UWEC Stags there.
Yeah, I mean, the C-Stacks didn't manage to make their way through the upper bracket, but they definitely managed to make their way into my heart because this was absolutely clutch. 2 absolutely amazing series they have played here against Engine Stuttgart and followed up by their series against Nottingham Trent. It was absolutely beautiful, a really sad but funny ending, but a well put up fight here by the C-Stacks against Nottingham Trent, and absolutely making me hunger for more. But for today, people, I have to be sorry to you, but we are actually done. But for now, this is for you guys who eventually just turned in, just been the first day of group stage of the European Rocketeers Championship. So stay tuned. It's going to be continued on the 2nd day of group stage at the 9th of March. And until then, also stay tuned on the other stuff that's going around. Leave a follow on Twitter for the Uniliga GG, for the EUR. For Trigger was taken as one of your favorite casters for today, of course, and Killsync, who eventually now has a Twitter handle.
Yeah, so that'll be Killsync1 on the Twitter. Unfortunately, somebody stole Killsync somehow. I'm not sure who decided to do that. It's one of you all out there.
Yeah, people steal nicknames all the time.
Yeah, definitely. I feel that. But thank you so much for tuning in. It's been an absolutely fantastic response. Please do tune in. This will be going on week, as we've said. Next week, we'll be looking at some of the lower brackets going through. And I think there are absolutely incredible teams. And as we've just seen, one of the teams going through to that lower brackets, the UWEC Stags, reverse sweeping one team and pulling off a fantastic 5th game there, and really 4th game, sorry. I'm really sad to see them go out in the way they did. And I just think that we should definitely take some time to appreciate all of the teams that we've seen on stream. They've all pulled out some great plays. We've seen some questionable defense, and we've seen some incredible defense, and likewise on the offense and the midfield. And I just think it just goes to show what we really can achieve. So yeah, obviously, as he said, feel free to head on over to Twitch, leave a like for Uniliga GG. On their Instagram, Uniliga_GG, and then on the Twitters for both our casters here, Trigger was taken and Killsync won.
Who was originally also taken, but yeah, definitely I can just appreciate what you just said. Beautiful Rocket League today. I'm really hungering for more, and as you just mentioned, the losers bracket is about to go on and be shown at the 9th of March, but also until then, don't miss out about the Rainbow Six Studi Cup number 2 at this Saturday at 1 p.m. here on the Uniliga GG channel. And I think for today, and even with the time that got very late, we are done. I wish you all a very good night. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you for casting this with me, Killsync. It was a blast again.
Yeah, thank you very much, Trigger. Always a pleasure.
And I think with those words, we are tuning out. Have a good night, everyone, and see you at least next Monday.